Hello everybody. Is this thing on? Hey, hi, welcome everybody. Hello, I'm Robert, and this is Romancing the Stones, special coverage of our 24-player RTS 33 proxy vintage event. We're gonna bring some vintage. If you've seen our streams before, they tend to be a lot of our webcam middle school leagues, sometimes our end-of-year invitational. And both of those events feature really fun formats. So we either have some vintage events, we have some middle school events, our invitational features both. If you win one of our middle school leagues, you can qualify for our invitational at the end of the year. But we also have in-person vintage events. They are proxy friendly, so all you need is a friend with a printer to show up and have fun and play. If that's all that if that's what you want. But it's a lot of fun. So we're going to show you some coverage of our last vintage event. It has already happened, so if you like spoilers, you can head to our website, Stones MTG, right? Because we don't have consistent branding across anything. StonesMTG.com is where you can find some of our top 8 deck lists. So if you want to watch along and spoil things for you, go ahead. Otherwise, just stay tuned. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to go ahead and kind of just get started with round one. So a little bit about the event. We typically have our events kind of at breweries or like pubs or someplace. This one we went to an outdoor kind of brewery place, and then it started to rain, so then we pivoted, and so you might see a change of scenery through the stream. Don't worry, it's all part of the plan. Let's go ahead and start with round one and just start with the vintage. There we go. Excellent. So, round one, we've got Paul Garrett on the left, playing I believe, a Grixis Breach. Yeah, Grixis Breach. And then Brian Espinosa on the right, piloting an Esper Tinker list. Paul Garrett, no stranger to this Breach list. He did win one of our Romancing the Stones events last year to qualify for Invitational, piloting a version of this deck. So we'll see if it pans out for him this year. We're going to go ahead and get started, though. So it looks like we got Mox and Saga. And Espinosa will go ahead and follow up with what appears to be a Saga, and it might be a Proxy Lotus. I cannot tell. So I'm sure Paul knows what it is.
And your turn. I will Lorien Revealed. Yep.
Looks like we are going to cycle. So that must be Mox, because we were tapping it for mana to cycle here. Paul goes ahead and just drops an Underground Sea and passes. He does have a Brainstorm in hand, kicks up his Saga to 2. Now we can just start making Saga tokens already on Plan A. Might not match up too well in the long game against his opponent's Saga, but we'll see. Ruby and Tundra. Okay, so that's the Mox Ruby, and we got a Tundra. Cool. I'm here for that.
So if you mulligan to 6, you clear one back, and then you Serum Powder, so you'll get 6 again.
But then if you mulligan further and don't use the Serum Powder,
Let's see, what do we got? All right, tap this Ruby. We're going to Lorien Revealed again. All right.
What'd you get the first time?
All the mana fixing.
I'm going to get an Underground Sea this time.
Get an Underground Sea. Alrighty. Excellent.
I'll play Underground Sea.
Get kind of a nice, lovely blue mirror. Blue-ish mirror
The official way you're supposed to mulligan is you draw 7,
for you guys.
and then decide if you keep
Looks like we deploy the sea.
Serum Powder works out.
Keep that Tundra. End of turn, let's make a dude. So notably here,
I forgot to reveal my legs.
Espinosa won't be able to make a construct. So his plan must be different. He had the opportunity to. We did have the Tundra in hand, but opted to do another Lorien Revealed for something else. So we're going to see what happens here. Make another construct. Make another windmill.
Yeah, it's just like it's within the rules to say no. That's here to play a game that has the rules.
Alright, so...
Saga trigger.
Alright, Saga Trigger resolves. We could just grab a Pithing Needle, turn off the other opposing Saga.
I didn't really play
don't know if that's what we'll do, but it's, you know, conceivable. That could be a fine play. Maybe we'll just go for mana. I'm not sure Paul's list has a main deck Pithing Needle. He is kind of in on this combo.
I used to play standard online a lot.
All right, we'll just go for mana. Yeah, get a Soul Ring, sure.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. Yeah. I'm paying for the price.
Artifact check. We've got 4, so Windmill's a 4/4 right now. All right. Go ahead and attack in here maybe in a little bit.
So you still play
Attack for 4.
Popper standard?
Attacking for 4.
Popper, pretty regular.
Yeah,
Occasionally, but I rarely get a full 4 person.
Your instant. I'll flash out a Bowmaster.
Ah, that was the plan. Okay, sure. Flashing in Bowmaster, sure. We'll respond with a recall, sure. That's a good time to resolve that.
Sleep, come on. Trigger. What do I want to do here?
All day, yeah. We saw him flash the brainstorm sort of to the camera, but recall's better here for miles better. I'm sure Paul expects this Bowmaster and very carefully and intentionally played around it. But we do make a construct on the upkeep, which, you know, tells us we don't have a lot much else going on to kind of combat these other windmills. What do we want to get here, though? It's kind of tough. We've got 2 artifacts. The one coming into play will make 3.
Oh, did you bring...
You know, maybe like a Shadow Spear. We could like make a 4/4 and like trade with some of these things. Kind of hard. I don't know if Shadow Spear's in this deck.
We know what it is in this match, but I'll have to get a label later. I just realized when I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I completely forgot.
Don't worry about it. I'll ask Tweet if he has one, maybe, or Stu.
Looks like our players are talking about proxies. So if you do come to one of our events, we highly recommend that you do. They are a ton of fun. They are proxy friendly. The only proxy rules are don't make us need proxy rules, which usually means we need to be able to identify your cards. So sounds like our players are talking about that. You know, that's fine. As long as you can easily identify what is happening, we're golden. Looks like Espinosa here goes for a top. Strong pick. I'm here for that. Alright, let's see. Play that Tundra that we knew about. Proxied kind of in the Mystical Archive kind of style, it looks like. I like it. Or is that... No, that's the Kamigawa frame. They're both kind of similar in putting some of the names in kind of a block up there. But either way, I like it. It's pretty. It looks like we are passing here. So we're cycling Lore Unrevealed off of this Soul Ring. Grab another color of mana in the Volcanic. And these constructs are still looking pretty good against what is happening on Espinosa's side of the board here. Tundra does represent maybe a Sword to Plowshares, which could easily make these constructs trade. We'll see, but that Time Vault is going to pump them up here and kind of present a question. So, battle for 10 here.
For 10.
We could Swords one and then like block with like a token and our own construct to kind of clean up the board. Oh, no, don't have that. All right. Bowmaster down. That opens up a lot of what's happening on Paul's side here.
Sure, you have 2 tap though. For Time Vault. Oh, you used it.
Yeah, we use Soul Ring for that.
I thought you had tap lands for it.
Pay 2 life for this probe.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's see what's in the hand. Coverage says yes. Ooh, look at this. Lavinia Looks like a Fluster, another Lauren revealed, a Saga, and what I'm going to assume is a Force of Will. But I can't completely tell. Alright, well, we'll see how Paul plays into this. So, alright, we're gonna fire off this brainstorm. It's gonna resolve, and it's gonna make this Lorien revealed in her hand complete this brainstorm. Sorry, Lorien's in Espinosa hand. I don't know if Paul has a Lorien. So I don't know if we get to complete the brainstorm. I'm just going to assume so.
I will top your thing. Or I'll tap it.
Alright, so we're topping end of turn, and looking at Paul's hand, looks like we've got a Force, a Repeal, and I missed it while he was shuffling through. If you're watching at home and you know what's in his hand, let me know. We'll find out. Oh, we got another look. Mental misstep. Alright. Okay, so just a grip of blue cards.
Sorry. Mental misstep.
Alright, mental misstep on the Soul Ring. I like that. Not a lot of opportunities these days to do that. I keep doing nothing hands all the time. You know, if you try to keep action hands all the time, you just end up mulliganing, and sometimes like that's not correct either. So I don't know. Magic's hard. Vintage is wild. All right, so what card I thought was a Force of Will is actually spell Pierce. Excellent. So we're going to spell Pierce. That Soul Ring is going to resolve. We do want the extra mana. It does make topping easier. We can cash it in on this Lauren revealed, which is actually quite nice, right? We get to use 1 mana for Lauren revealed, 1 mana to top. I don't mind fighting over this. Especially if we're on like the Tinker plan, right? I think having a Soul Ring is good, especially when your opponent just has this other mana advantage. You have to keep up a little bit or you will lose out. It's another artifact for the token. Pairs well with the Saga. I'm good with this. So we looked at 2 cards in hand. I think the cards left are not spectacular, right? We've got a thing. Oh, and looks like what? We just had the key. Enter scoop phase. Yeah. All right. Well, Paul assembles the combo in Vault Key and picks up game 1 out of 3. So we'll go ahead and cut past the sideboarding and move straight into our mulligans, and it looks like Paul is keeping a grip of 5. So Espinosa on the play, up 2 cards. We'll see what Garrett can do. It looks like he's got a dress down in hand. We're gonna lead off with Jet, Blue to Delta. I'm all right with this.
Pass.
Underground Sea and Tundra. Alright, Paul. Tap the Jet, plays the land, and then casts Soul Ring. Soul Ring resolves. We're going to Mox for the extra mana. We're going to put Luris into our hand. I like this. We'll end a turn Bowmaster. I like this now. No Ancestral Recall in response, so Espinosa doesn't get buried under the card advantage here. Play another Mox, it appears. By the shape, it looks like the same ruby, maybe?
Combat. 2.
No, perfect. Alright, so we will combat for 2. Paul's gonna take his untap. We're not gonna fetch just yet. Maybe we've got a Brainstorm in hand. Maybe we don't know what color land we actually need. Looks like a PO in hand. A Repeal, perhaps. So this PO is not looking. I mean, we could PO for 3. Draw 3 cards. It's not nothing. 3 cards into Bowmaster seems rough though. Especially with Espinosa having open mana. We do have a Wasteland opposing us, so we need to, for fetching now, we kind of need to decide, you know, what we're going to cast with it. So we go ahead and fetch. And we'll see. Jet volcanic dress down. I think that is a great way to start a turn if we're going to PO.
2, 3 cards in hand?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to fight over this. I expect to fight. If we can fight, I expect to fight.
One of those black. What, another dark ritual? Floating 5 black currently.
I'll force pitch force.
Force pitch force. All right, sure. I'm here for that. Force resolves. And we're going to go ahead and we try to resolve our Aluris, which is a great thing to do when we want to resolve this dress down. All right. Espinosa is going to take an untap.
I'll take 2.
We have a Gitaxian Probe. Espinosa drops 2 more life. Coverage says, thank you to this repeal and this PO. Both of those draw cards. So we could repeal the Bowmaster, and we could cast Dress Down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and attack into this Loris, which tells me we have another Bowmaster, maybe. Paul just says, yeah, sure, I'll take it. No intention of risking his Loris. So we'll see here if Espinosa does in fact have... Alright, so no Bowmaster to block. Interesting. Okay.
Actually, no, I don't want to take the damage.
No, we don't want to take the damage. Okay, what are we doing? We're blocking. Okay, yeah. Here's the Bowmaster that we have in our hand. Like right, like that's
Or attackers.
that's the reason why we attacked.
Bowmaster?
All right, yeah. Well, we're gonna respond with Dress Down. So we're gonna play around the Bowmaster. So Bowmaster will come into play and not make a token, so we can block, but it will not get our
Results?
our lures here.
Blocks? I take 3.
Yeah. Chat tuning in on the same play.
I was at 19.
We kind of telegraphed the Bowmaster with our attack.
19.
Paul had the heads up there and knew that he could attack safely.
17 from.
Oh, I missed the
Yeah, and then 14.
14. Main phase 2.
Yeah.
Alright, so Espinosa's at 14 here. Now we're going to go ahead and I think resolve this PO.
Spell Pierce?
And we were going to Spell Pierce that real fast. And we know the contents of Paul's hand. Paul had got 1 mystery card. But look at the value here. We're going to get to cast this Dress Down every turn. Which is going to be pretty solid. We are going to get to attack for 3. Which is not going to race the lures very well. It will keep the life total in check a little bit, but Espinosa is going to start bleeding some life points here. Drop down from 14 to 13. Oh, no. We got shenanigans.
Yeah, target.
Loris?
Okay. 4 blocks.
Before blocks.
Is that 1, isn't it?
No, played it last turn.
Right.
What was that came into play? I missed what that was. All right, so the target was Loris, whatever that was. Tap 2 mana to do it.
Okay.
Oh, it was another Bowmaster. All right, cool. Yeah, just a glare. Glare made it hard to see. So another Bowmaster. I think that makes sense. So we did not. Okay, interesting. We maybe that was kind of a misfire there on Paul, letting the Bowmaster come into play and target the Loris, which means the Orc army should be at 2 counters. Which Espinosa fixes right there, perfect. So we do lose the Loris. I don't know if Paul had to do that. We're going to take the opportunity, though, to ponder while these Bowmasters are turned off. Huh. Alright. We draw. Looks like we got another PO. We are a mana short from POing this turn. And we are going to pass the turn. And now these Bowmasters are turned on, and we do not have a clean answer to them now unless we find another dress down. Looks like we've got Metavault, a top perhaps in hand along with that PO. But that's okay. I guess Paul is on plan B, which is make windmills. We all like windmills, right? Alright, we're going to Chapter 3 resolve after making another construct. And we're going to get a key. Alright, so this is going to be a good path to victory here. Espinoza, he's at a lower life total. I believe he's at 14. Notably, Paul didn't gain life in the last attack because of the dress down, so I don't think Brian's going to win this race to do an unblockable construct, but we'll see. Alright, so we're just going to make mana this turn. Do we like those cards? I don't know.
Other one floating.
Okay, so we use the other floating. Get a mana crypt. Mana vault. Sorry. Are we gonna PO? We're gonna PO into this anyway? No, we attack and block with a token. Alright, sure. PO, Force of Will, and this repeal that we've had in our hand for forever, I believe. Espinoza takes a dressed up and passes. I'm concerned about what's in his hand. He's not been flashing it in front of the camera like Paul has, so I guess as good as ours. Nothing was ever in your hand. Oh, we've all been there. We all know how that feels. All right, so we do block with one of our Bowmasters. We're gonna cast a D-Tutor. All right, what are we doing? Hard cast Force. All right. He's got one card in hand, no mana untapped, so we do snap off this Force. And we know that if we have enough mana, if this thing resolves, we just go ahead and grab the Vault, and we can Vault Key away. So that does the game real fast. Paul's going to pick this one up 2 games to 0 and advance to 1-0. Interesting kind of match. I think Espinoza probably has a lot of tools for this, and I just think we just got unlucky with our draw steps here. I think we were in great shape until Paul just landed the Saga, right? It looks like he brought in, okay, yeah, just some things to interact. Paul had some ways to interact with Bowmaster and some counter spells. Sure, I think those are all reasonable. All reasonable things to see. I think. Yeah, never got to cast the Tinker into Citadel, Shield, or Time Twister. Yeah, sure. You didn't get to do what your deck is trying to do. Absolutely. I mean, that is sweet, right? You get to play Time Twister now because you get to play with Shieldreds, and you also get to play with Bowmasters now. That's a lot of fun. I played a Legacy deck that is, 4 Bowmaster, 4 Echo of Eons, 4 LEDs, just to do exactly that. And let me tell you, it is a lot of fun. To Time Twister your opponent when you have Bowmaster and get to make like an 8/8 out of it. So I think game 2, like, your hands are fine, and I think the Bowmasters did really well. I think it's just Saga is a powerful Magic card, and it also got the half of the combo. So later on when we drew the Demonic Tutor, we could just win on the spot. Just rough, vintage. That happens. But let's go ahead and look at our second match. So we did have 5 rounds of Swiss. We did cut the top 8. We have 1 match of each round of the top 8. So we have 1 quarterfinal match, 1 semifinal match, and then the finals. But let's go ahead and take a look at round 2. We do have Ian Files on the left. We have Stu on the right, our one and only Stu. Coordinates a lot of our middle school leagues for us. Ian Files is a local regular in the Eternal scene. And Stu is playing his sort of five-color engineer deck that he's been on for a while here. And Ian also revealing a Luris as well. So both players on Luris. Ian is on a green, white, blue Bant pile, which is typical of Ian. And we see immediately we're going to play the Oof, which is lights out for Stu's deck normally. We're going to fire off a force. We're going to fire off a force back. The Oof is going to resolve, and already we're in a tight spot for Stu, as he's got one land that makes mana, and it's fastly approaching its own demise. So already, Ian in a great spot. Exactly where Ian wants to be. Puts his Pearl underneath the Oof to represent it does not do anything. And oh my gosh, we have a Wasteland, which is going to knock out this Saga before it does anything. Or not. We're going to Oof number 2. And I think this game is over, folks. I don't see Stu getting out of this one anytime soon. And we do have some options, but I don't think any of the options come off of Saga to help us out here. We'll see.
Yeah, so this will resolve first, and then I will draw 2 cards.
Let's see what he grabs. Okay, we have a blocker. Sure. This thing blocks? Gain some life?
Yeah, sure.
It's a bug, right? Haywire Mite's a bug? Let's find out. No, it's an insect, right? Haywire Mite is... yeah, it is an insect. Okay. So, yeah. Bug, insect. All the same here. Notably, this Pithing Needle is probably on Wasteland, and I may have missed that from the beginning. Anyway, Stu has said, I'm not blocking. Ian plays Lavinia. Yeah, I think this is it. This is all she wrote. And Stu says, yeah, nope. Cannot beat that card. So he's going to pick up game 1 in vintage fashion, right? Turn off the artifacts. Your decks don't work. So let's skip ahead past the sideboarding and go straight to game 2. Stu here resolving his mulligans and taking his first turn here. And we're going to Triple Mox, Soul Ring. We're going to Time Vault and Voltaic Key. All right. At Romancing the Stones, we call this the stew. If this happens to you, you got stewed, because Stu's deck has an uncanny way of doing this, like way more than is reasonable. And Stu's gonna say, "Hey, look, you got me game 1, but when you don't turn off my artifacts, I'll get you." Picks up game 2 in true quick fashion. But yeah, no. If you play in our events like this will happen to you an unreasonable amount of time. Stu will always just find a way to do this turn 1, turn 2 sort of naturally. Just have his vault key, and you keep those hands, right? Because what else are you doing? We're going to see a much more reasonable game. Ian opens up Tropical Island Deathrat Shaman in Vintage. Stu going to go ahead and play turn 1 Lavinia, which is going to help keep counter spells from resolving on the inside here in most cases. Oh, Black Lotus into Lavinia. You can't do that. Trigger! All right, we got there. Yeah, it's counted. Ian does get away with strip mining the Rainbow Land, the Spire of Industry there. So let's look at a couple of these things. So Spire of Industry. Don't see this too often. It is it's kind of like a City Brass, or if you have artifacts, or you can just tap it for colorless. So it's real good in a multicolor deck like Stu's. And then we're going to talk about Lavinia and just kind of talk about how we just walked a Black Lotus into that. So, Lavinia, each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with mana value greater than the number of lands they control. Alright, well, we have, mana cost of Black Lotus is 0, so we have more than 0 lands, so we can cast it that way. But whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was cast on that, counter that spell. So we go ahead and counter Black Lotus. Sometimes you just gotta check your opponent, make sure that they know what their cards do. Stu does know what Lavinia does. That's going to be powerful. Ian does fetch, and it looks like we grab the Luris and put that into hand off of the back of Deathrat Shaman here. Stu does deploy an Urza Saga. Wonderful. We'll see. We get our attack in, and we'll see how we can go from here. Now, Ian has a lot of cards in his deck that can interact very favorably with Stu. There's Pest Control in here, which would wipe out quite a bit of Stu's board. Tarmogoyfs are just big. They're bigger than this Lavinia. But we're going to go ahead and grab... Alright, so we use Deathrat Shaman to filter a land to make mana to cycle. And we're going to cycle, play the land, and then play the Luris, which is immediately going to get Sword of Plowshares. Like that. Mox Opal is turned on. We do the Metalcraft. We do the Saga turned on. I think Stu's in a very strong position. He's got 3 lands, and most of the big, Haymaker spells in his deck are available, right? Because we are a Luris deck. Everything costs, all the permanents cost 2 or less. We have some powerful spells, but they very likely also don't cost more than 3. So it's really just these triple Force of Wills that are in Ian's hand that do nothing. Oh no! Oh, I thought he might have had something, but instead he's got 3 cards he is not allowed to cast. And Stu's going to start going in for the kill. We're going to go ahead and resolve this Engineer, which is immediately going to put the Time Vault into the graveyard. This is what his deck does. It is a more or less a Turbo Vault key deck. He's had lots of success with this. And we're, threatening the win next turn. So Ian's got a turn here to draw something relevant. And it looks like we did. We drew a Null Rod. Oh my goodness. All right, so Null Rod will turn off and make Stu's deck not work. We saw how that worked in game 1 with the Oof. All right, we're all in on this Null Rod, but Stu says, hey, I've got the Force of Will. I can't let this resolve. And Ian says, yeah, that's good, because I can't cast my Force of Wills. And opts not to up the storm count. And Stu's Force of Will resolves. Null Rod hits the bin. Stu does have the red mana to activate this Engineer. We are going to float a mana here.
Exile your Swords to Plowshares.
Alright, so we're going to exile Sword of Plowshares, so Stu will take 2.
Every turn of that game.
And notably, we'll get to resolve Chapter 3. And Ian is all out of gas here. So, notably, Deathrat Shaman exiles cards from the graveyard. But it can only exile a land card or exile an instant. It's not a if you exiled an instant or if you exiled a land, do the thing. So we can't get rid of the Time Vault with our Deathrite. And that means Stu here is going to be able to put it into play. We got some extra mana off this Urza Saga. We're going to float a white. We're gonna engineer a Pearl into a Time Vault. Use the white floating to untap Time Vault, and Ian's gonna say, "Hey, your Lavinia was real good," and Stu's gonna pick up game 3 here, and with that, the match, 2-1. Stu's saying that Lavinia got him out of his last match too. Yeah, no, Lavinia's really strong in this format. Earlier in the year, Stu lent me this physical deck to go play in a paper vintage event, and yeah, Lavinia was great the entire time. Deck was a blast. Makes a lot of sense. So it looks like, yeah, we brought in some extra removal. Yeah, only way we're gonna get rid of these oofs. Ian brings in a null rod. Null rod makes a lot of sense. I think that makes sense. I think that's great. But that's fun. So I think, Ian's gonna move to 1-1. Stu's gonna move to 2-0 there, which is kind of fun to see. So we have another round 3 coming up. But before we do that, I want to talk about what these players are playing for. So they are playing for not just glory. This is a cash event, so we do pay out, I believe, the top 8. And then the winner gets a special prize card. Let's talk about those prize cards, right? So we have some special prize cards that you can see on the screen now. They are some like digital retro moxes, power, jewels, all the fun stuff, right? We're giving these away at all of our in-person vintage events. We've given away the emerald. We're giving away this pearl for this event. And it's a blast. I think it's wonderful. So if you want one of these cool, proxy cards for your vintage deck, come play in our events, come win it. Along with the prize card, you'll win a spot at our end of year invitational where you're going to win this Black Lotus, right? If you win our invitational, this is our season champion prize. You get this, pixelated Black Lotus. So come out and play. Come out and join and have some fun with us. Win one of these cool cards. If you do qualify for the invitational, you usually walk away with something, no matter what. Whether you lose all your games. So still, whole bunch of fun. But let's go ahead and go to round 3 here. Round 3 is going to feature Seth on the left. Seth is playing, let me look at this, a blue-white Dreadnought deck. Deck is fun, right? Dreadnought, pet card, and a lot of players in our circles. Robin on the right-hand side is our local vintage goblin expert. And if you ask him, he is the best vintage goblins player there is. And if you can point to results that prove otherwise, you are welcome to do so. But until then, this is one of the best goblins players in vintage around. And we're going to get our game started off. So Seth is on the play here. He does open up with a Lavinia. Lavinia stops non-creature spells. Robin's playing almost all creature spells. So we're going to start off with basic mountain in vintage into goblin lackey. And if you didn't see the mocks on the left-hand side of our play area here, you might think this might be legacy, but nope, we're going to jam the goblins here. Goblins is mostly a combo deck. We're not trying to get in the attack step in most cases.
It's only opponent? Yeah.
So we are discussing how Lavinia is one-sided. And look at this mana advantage already. Seth has access to 4 mana. We're going to go ahead and grab a Loris. And Robin's going to have the opportunity here to kind of, see what his deck can do. His deck likes to explode on turn 2. Alright, we're going to see Cavern on Goblin into Snoop. Snoop is what makes this deck go bananas. So we have a Kiki Jiki on top. And unfortunately, we're going to immediately get Sword of Plowshares without the ability to activate our Snoop here. Snoop is the key to this combo. And we almost had that there. The Kiki Jiki opens up a lot of lines.
Play a Black Lotus. I'll sack it to cast Loris.
Alright. Classic Lotus into Loris into Lotus play patterns here. And if you look at those proxy power, those, even the Tundra, the Sapphire, the Lotus, those are all Romancing the Stones like prize cards. So those are the things you have to look forward to by coming to our events. Alright, so it looks like we're just going to cast Aloran Revealed.
Play a land for the turn.
We have seen every mode on the stream so far except for Pitching to Force, so we'll see if we see that later. And we're going to strip mine. Ooh, decisions here.
You named Goblin with that?
Yeah, I think that that's fine. We want to be able to counter these goblins, right?
I'll play a Manifold Key. No,
Okay, we're gonna play Manifold Key. Robin does have a Mindbreak Trap in his hand. I don't know if that's going to help him here. Not gonna have a lot of opportunity. Robin does have a follow-up mountain, but not a follow-up play.
do you ever
All right, we're gonna make a another windmill. Vantage bar firmly in Seth's side of the table, and Robin just does some mental math and realizes, you know what, I'm not gonna win this game. Let's not waste some time. I don't want to waste your time either, so we're gonna head straight to game 2 as we resolve our mulligans here. And it looks like both players are going down to 6 cards. Getting a peek at Robin's hand, it looks like we've got the mountain into cavern into Goblin Recruiter, which is usually game over. But it looks like we're going to go straight into... Interesting. Okay, so we opted not to play Cavern with Chrome Mox. I don't know if I like that from Robin's side. I think if our plan was to jam this turn 1, yeah, Robin says the same thing. He says, hey, look, I had this. I don't know what I'm doing. And notably, look, we've got a Skirk Prospector and a second Skirk Prospector, and then just a Cavern, which we are going to embarrassingly keep into our hand. We're going to keep that in our hand. We've already made our punt, and we don't want our opponent to know. Seth is going to play... Oh, man, I know what this does. I can't remember the name. Thing stops ETBs, right? Oh, my goodness. What does this card do, chat? It's Doorkeeper Thrill. Thank you. Okay. Doorkeep. We're gonna pull that up. Okay. Doorkeeper Thrill. That's right. Okay. So artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. That's a problem in some cases for some of these goblin cards. 2 mana away to kind of interact with a lot of this. Flash is good. But notably, it does not. It doesn't really do much against Robin's board right now.
You did do it right.
And then I'll cast it.
Because you said
Players are discussing sequencing here.
MTGO lets me undo it.
That's fine.
Then I'll cast it again. And then I'll sack for 3 white and play Dreadnought.
Hey, look at this. You know, we may not be interacting with Robin's board, but we absolutely interact with our own board, and we are resolving a Dreadnought here. Alright, so Robin gets to, like, win... Maybe not this turn, but he could try to win next turn. And he's got what I think is a trash... ooh, that is a Crater Maker. Alright, we're going to Crater Make. Look at that. Get out of here, Dreadnought. Goblin Crater Maker. Alright. So, Goblin Crater Maker. With the 3 mana, it is uncounterable. We do get to come in here and destroy target colorless non-land permanent. So we get to just blow up the Dreadnought. However, we get to just play the Dreadnought again because we got this Luris. And Robin does not have the win there. So unfortunately there, Robin loses 2-0 to Seth. Seth does advance to 3-0 for this event. Robin does pick up his first loss.
I mean, your deck inspires me to have solid answers against creatures.
Looks like we had some number of our Mindbreak Traps. We probably took those out. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, in any case, that was round 3. We've got 2 more rounds left to talk about before we cut to our top 8. A lot of quick matches coming up here. We do have some longer top 8 matches, but you know, that's fun. You know, keeps the action going. Vintage. We like vintage, right? You don't want to listen to me talk. You want to watch vintage. That's why you're here. The stream says vintage. Let's watch vintage. All right, let's get round 4. Round 4. Andrew on the left here, 3-0. Stu on the right, 3-0. We saw him round 2. We're seeing him again round 4 on his Luris pile. Andrew Webb is playing Planeswalker Tribal? No. Playing a kitten deck. blue-white kitten combo. Kitten. We want to see kitten, right? What is kitten? Kitten is displacer kitten. What does displacer kitten do? What is this? What is this commander card? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to one target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. There's some shenanigans that happen here. We'll see if any of them come to light. Stu off to a strong start though. Lotus, Opal, and Saga. We're like one artifact or mana away from like getting this Larson to play immediately. Andrew going to start off though and say, hey, you know, let's start off with stronger play. I think turn one, the One Ring has protection from everything. Next turn, so Stu can't win with Vault Key this turn if we just try to stew Andrew here. We're not going to be able to. Webb's going to be behind his protection trigger. Immediately replaces the One Ring by drawing a card, and Stu's going to follow up on his turn with another Saga, and we're probably looking at a pithing needle here, naming the One Ring, but we might be too late to that party here. Notably, we can't even really make constructs here reliably because we don't have enough artifacts. We can sacrifice this Lotus, but we won't get Metalcraft. Kind of an awkward keep from Stu here.
Odds I take damage, evens I don't.
Odds take damage. The traditional gentleman's agreement in Vintage. If you resolve your mana crypt flips any other way, I don't know what to tell you. Unless you're flipping coins. If you're actually flipping a coin like it says, then good on you. Looks like Andrew's got an embarrassment of riches in his hands, and we have a Lotus of our own. So, plenty of mana on Webb's side, which we'll see if he can get us through the business here. Looks like 2 or 3 forces there.
Let's use one blue, so 2 blue
All right, we've got the namesake. The kitten. Kitten's here. What are we going to do with the kitten? We have 2 blue floating. We say no to the kitten. We're going to hardcast Force. All right, cashing in this Lotus for Force of Will. Stop the kitten. I'm on board with that. Andrew says, you know what? I want to Spell Pierce that. Man, look at that. 1 mana. Eats the Lotus and a Force of Will for that. Sure. All right, kitten resolves. What are we going to do with the kitten? All right, we're going to play top. Trigger. Right? Yeah. All right, we're blinking mana grip. All right, got it. Now get some more mana here.
I always think that they both get exiled.
Andrew's thinking. Tap, draw a card. Sure, got it. Looks like we drew a Brainstorm trigger. Float 2 colorless. All right, look at this. Look at this cat, everybody. This kitten. This cat beast. Alright, so we're gonna go to top back, and it looks like we're gonna put back at least like maybe a land we're considering. Nope. Something else. Keep this land. I think we do have a land drop this turn, so we can play this island. It looks like a 1 ring. Yeah, 1 ring and something else that we don't need. Sure. I think that's fine. That makes sense. Play this top. All right, trigger. What shenanigans we got? I think Webb is trying to see, can he go infinite with this? Can we, we're gonna blink the ring. Alrighty.
Tap, draw card.
Or tap, draw a card. We're gonna tap. Alright, so we are like one card away from going infinite here. Because we can do this. We're gonna draw another card with top. And then we're gonna ring again. We're gonna make 2. Alright, no, start by floating 2 mana, sure. Oh, we're gonna top. Alright, sure, that makes sense. I like this, right? So we get to use Mana Crypt, flip that a bunch of times to try to generate a lot of mana. And then we're going to kind of recycle our top, blink the ring, and just kind of slowly keep going. But oh, look, we found a key, which is real powerful here. Because now we can start taking up the counters on this ring, and it doesn't have to draw one at a time. We can just up our burden counters. Very powerful.
I'm going to make 2 combos. I'm going to use 1 to untap ring.
Yep. Draw 2. So we net a card. We get our top back, and there's a Teferi. So Teferi and Displacer Kitten are combo. So let's look at that. 3 fairy here. So Teferi, the Time Raveler. Oh, let's not look at that version. That's the online version. Alright. So we can use this to return something to our hand. Like a Mox. Cast it. Kitten blinks Teferi. Teferi comes back in, returns the Mox back. We get to play the Mox and blink. And this will go over and over again until we draw our deck. I assume Webb has a way to win if we draw his deck. But we're going to pass the turn instead. And Stu's going to sit here and think, okay, am I alive? No. No. We take that draw step, we're not alive.
I know, there's like no way.
No, I mean, we have a ring trigger, so at least I think we have a ring trigger there, so not a lot we can do about that. Let's go ahead and see how our game 2 plays here. Say Webb considering a hand with Force of Will. Trinket Mage, very cute with Kitten. Tutor out all your deck. Explode real fast. Stu keeps his hand and says, hey, look, I want to Ancestral Recall. And Webb says, no thank you. Pitches the Trinket Mage. And play continues. Alright, so we're going to see a card from Webb. A blue card. It looks like, I'm not sure what that one was. It looks like one of our prize cards from the past. We do open on the top. Top is great. Stu follows up with Saga and passes. Maybe we have a Fluster or a Spell Pierce or something here. Resolve the top. Take your turn. Get a fetch land. Fetch is good with top. Looks like we've got a Tinker. Ooh. And a Lotus. Okay, so Tinker and Lotus, that's a combo. What do we Tinker for? What's in this deck? I could look at the deck list. Or we could find that together, chat. Let's find out together. We will fetch for Tundra. Stu says you are good. We're all friends, Ariel. Here we are. Hey, look, 3 mana, Tinker. Stu says I got nothing. Webb says I've got a Bolos Citadel. All right, yeah, sure. We're combo deck. Why would we have anything other than Bolos Citadel?
So I looked at my top 3. I was like, yeah, I don't think he has it.
Yeah, well, I kept the hand off the recall. I was like, I shouldn't have kept it, but it was hard for me to see recall.
Stu confirming some suspicions that his hand was heavily recall influenced, and Webb making the soul read that Stu's got nothing. And Stu just says, "Hey, look, you've got the top, and you've got the Bolas Citadel, and you've got plenty of life. So you've got this. I'm not getting anywhere." And Stu's hand just has nothing.
At the top, so I was like, I'm gonna find something.
So let there be a lesson here that while Ancestral Recall is an incredibly good card that is restricted, it is not a magic hand fixer. And so that's the only thing going in your hand. You might want a mulligan, maybe. I don't know, your mileage may vary. Could just depend. Maybe the top 3 cards are the best 3 cards and you'll just win. Maybe it's Vault, Key, and Mana, and Lotus, right? I don't know. Possibly. So that's 4 rounds of our 5 rounds of Swiss. We have 24 players at this vintage event. RTS 32 was 32 players. We had 32 players for our 32nd event. That was wonderful. This event had 24. Still a wonderfully healthy event. 5 rounds, cut to top 8. We have 1 more round of Swiss to bring you. And this one comes with some content warning. 1, blink and you'll miss it. And then 2, you're going to watch me get savaged. And I'm going to talk you through how I get savaged. So I will be on camera in round 5, and I'm going to. There's some brutal violence that happens in this next round. So stick around and enjoy this spectacle with me as I relive the horrors of this round. I would say spoiler warning, but hey, the results are live, and you know what? Everyone likes to dunk on me from time to time, so here we go. This is a prelude, right? What am I doing? There's a pile of 10 cards here. I'm picking them at random. I'm picking 3 cards at random. What am I doing? I'm picking stickers, because my opponent has some stickers in his deck. Some sticker-making goblins. You can't do this anymore. After this event, they were banned. So sticker goblin, mind goblin, can't do that anymore. Actually banned in Vintage, one of the few cards banned that isn't giving you ante, or isn't for ante. So
Mine has a guaranteed 4, and I could have.
that's the thing. However, I flip over like the best possible, right? He's not optimized. I flip up like a 3/4/4, so we can't Muxus off a mind goblin immediately. All sorts of things. So we're both at this moment 3-1. So we believe we are both playing for top 8 here, and the loser is not making top 8. Then we cut to our mulligans here, and my mulligans are I keep a hand of 5.
I don't like it.
I didn't like the hand, but here we are.
Island. Ancestral me.
Sure.
All right, so I at least have the ancestral to kind of undo my mulligan here. And I have some blue cards in my deck. I'm playing a Stompy deck. Justin's playing a Goblin combo deck, a little bit different than Robin's. I am playing a Blue Shops, kind of an 8-casty sort of thing with the Simulacrum synthesizer, and some other Shops kind of cards, but blue cards, so I can like play Force Will and things like that. And
Cards in hand 4.
4 cards.
I have 4 cards in hand right now. I have one of them is.
I will attempt to resolve the Lackey.
So Lucky's here. I have a Force of Will, but I also have a blocker. And my blocker is just better. So I'm going to block. Unfortunately, Justin has the one of Strip Mine here, which is going to strip me off my my island here. And more importantly, my 3rd mana. So I'm going to untap. I'm going to play a 3rd mana. Notably not even blue. And now I can't cast my 3 mana blocker.
Go ahead.
It was a flash blocker too. It's the weird card from like Warhammer 40k that you can squad with all your Mishra mana, Mishra Workshop mana. So I'm just like dead to this lackey now because I chose not to force will. I chose to just try to block. I got one of strip minded. Oh well. What do we get here? Oh, we get maximum punished. A Muxus off of this goblin lackey. Okay, cool. I look at my hand, realize most of these things don't beat what gets flipped over. Let's whiff. Okay, come on, whiff. That's not a whiff. That's not a whiff. That's not a whiff. That's oh, look at this. He just Muxuses into the combo.
These two will go on the bottom.
Sure.
Goblin Recruiter plus Snoop means I lose onto the spot, and they have haste. Like everything has haste. Like this is literally the worst possible. So I scoop him up. I'm dead. I'm stone dead. Oh no.
I didn't force the Goblin Lackey because I had a blocker. If I have 3 mana.
Yeah. That's
So oh well. You know that's vintage, right? You know I think I made the right play. I can keep this Force of Will for something better. I didn't see. You know he's obviously using a Simian Spirit Guide to cast this thing. He doesn't have the Cavern, so I feel like this Force of Will is really valuable in what comes next. I've got a blocker. This is good. Then I get Strip Mine. Only one of those in the deck. What are you gonna do? Can't play around Strip Mine. I certainly didn't. All right. So game 2. We got to do the sticker thing again because that's how stickers work.
All right, what numbers?
So we got 6, we got 5, we got 4.
654. That's bad.
There we go.
It's bad for me because it means his sticker goblins can immediately make Muxus mana. So got to play around that. We'll see. But hey, you know what? I'm on the play. I've got some stuff. I've boarded in some dismembers. Those are really good. You have like a Grafdigger's Cage you can bring in to like maybe stop the Muxus shenanigans. You got some tools. I've got some tools. So we'll just see. We'll see what we can do. All right. So I'm gonna cast the Soul Ring. I've got a dismember in my hand, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll just cast the Soul Ring so I can dismember. But we get mental misstepped, and that's real bad for me because now I cannot dismember. I could have just left up the mana. I didn't have to play that. I also had a Grafdigger's Cage, you know, which would have gotten mental misstepped or something. However, look, no problem. We'll just see what we can do. Well, 3 mana makes the Sticker Goblin. Oh no, we can't kill it in response to its trigger with our Dismember that is now stranded in our hand because of the one of mental misstep.
I will name it Illusionary.
And we're gonna give it 6. Justin, a champ, bringing in the actual stickers, the name stickers for his goblins. Wonderful. If you're going to play stickers, this is how you do it. But we've got the Muxus again. Okay, well, how bad can it be? He says to chat. And look at this. We turn into a Snoop, Goblin Recruiter, and what I believe is Kiki Jiki.
I have the Dismember.
And look, I still have all these, right? But I'm dead on the spot again. So I am, yeah, that's it. So, Savage beats, totally decimated by the Singletons. But you know what? That is what we love about Vintage, despite the outcome of this game. That was a lot of fun. I don't mind, you know, I lost to like a sweet play, right? It's just like sweet play into just like other random chance. It was fun. That's what we're here for. Makes for great content for all of you fine folks, though. But yeah, so that's round 5. Over in quick fashion, as sometimes Vintage games do. And so we've seen kind of throughout this event, we've seen Breach, we've seen a Tinker Deck, we've seen the 5-color Engineer, we've seen a Bant Pile, we've seen 2 different takes on Goblins. We've seen kind of a Blue Shops deck. And then we've seen Kitten Combo. Kitten Combo. That's something you only get at some of these kind of fun events like this, right? When was the last time you saw Kitten Combo on MTGO? And it wasn't played by Andrew Webb. That's the key thing, right? I don't know. But what that means here is that does conclude our Swiss portion of the event. So we've got some top 8 matches to bring you. So we've got 3 more matches. We're going to go ahead and start our quarterfinals match, and that's going to be between our first seed. Yeah, there's my quarterfinal match. There we go. Cool. First seed versus our 8th seed. First seed is Andrew Webb. He did end up finishing first with Kitten combo. And we're going to see our 8th seed, who squeaked in at 8th, run on Dredge. So our top 8 included, let's see, we have a Dredge deck. There's a Jewel Shops deck in top 8. There is a Goblins deck in top 8. Justin, who beat me in round 5 and Goblins. There is a 5-color Engineer deck. There is the Shops deck. So I ended up squeaking into top 8 as well. So luckily that match didn't kick me out. Got in on breakers. Then we have with the Kitten combo. We have the Loris control, which is kind of Ian's deck. And then we also have the Grixis Breach deck in top 8. So we've got a fun top 8 kind of going here. But this match right here, right? We've got Andrew Webb on the play here as first seed. Ron has Serum Powdered at least once. Andrew knows what's up.
A bridge from below.
Now what's really cool here, right? This is Ron's first Vintage event, I believe. He did play Dredge. This is the first time he's playing Dredge. And he has navigated it to top 8. I believe I played him in the Swiss. It was fun. It's nice to see, players who are new to the format, experiencing it and having success. So his first Dredge here, we do find a Stinkweed Imp, which is good, and a Bridge from Below, and an Icarid. So potentially, we can kind of get off to the races here. Depending on the next set of dredges from this bizarre activation. So Andrew having a very slow start compared to the previous game where we saw him. Saga into Tundra, no second mana source, not making any constructs. Match probably isn't about constructs, but... Alright, so our dredge here. Stinkwood, Grief, Bridge, Narcomoeba. 2 triggers there from Creeping Chill. We're going to dredge...
Stinkweed?
Dredge is Stinkweed, that makes sense. Bizarre, Prized Amalgam, Cabal Therapy, Hallowed One.
So, relevancy, first off I have to discard 3.
That's right, that we have to resolve these things in the right order.
3 Stinkweeds.
And we're going to reveal the hand accidentally there.
Icarid trigger on the stat. Or no. Now,
Yeah, we're going to resolve
a
our Narcomoeba and our Creeping Chills.
everything else becomes irrelevant. Well, the prized amalgam might still be relevant, I believe. This all becomes pretty much irrelevant.
Okay, so we're gonna put the prized amalgam there to kind of signify it's got a trigger. Navigating the dredge deck, if you're new to it, can be a little challenging. You're kind of playing Magic, but you're kind of not playing Magic, and then a lot of random triggers and a lot of different zones to kind of keep track of. So you see Ron there keep his graveyard in kind of 4 separate piles. Relevant, Dredgers, Bridges, and Icarids. That's fine, you know. If we were like playing, you know, the Vintage World Championships, we might move the graveyards into a more presentable format. But this is fine, right? You know, we're here to have fun. All right, so draw step, dredging. Doesn't reveal much. We've got 3 Hallowed Ones out of here. We've got 3 Bazaars down, 2 in the graveyard, 1 in play. So vulnerable to Wasteland if Webb's got that in his deck. Take a peek at our hand and...
I will swing with the Icarid.
Icarid only. Narcomoeba's got Summoning Sickness.
Second main, nothing happens. Instant trigger, the Icarid dies. I'm gonna get
2 bridge tokens, yep. 2 bridge triggers. Makes 2 zombies.
I'll get
Little help from Webb there.
I'll get 2 2/2s.
So Dredge Deck seems to be humming on its cylinders here. We'll get our prized amalgam coming back, and we'll pass the turn. Notably, Andrew could easily have the right context of cards in hand to win, you know, in the next turn or two. We'll see if he has them. He's shown right now a slow start, but
Manifold key.
we'll see.
Okay.
Would you like to cut? One colorless floating. I'm gonna play Box Sapphire.
All right, that's a good start.
Tap that for blue. I'm gonna play a time ball with the colorless in the
Look at this. We have a key. Okay, see, that's what I said. We just have the right context of cards in hand. So we had a plan. It was
Force of Will, Narcomoeba.
Time Vault into Saga Resolve. And we're going to pitch force, and then we're going to force pitch to Fairy.
Can I respond to that?
You do have priority run. You will have the ability to respond before it hits the stack, before it resolves. But we don't have anything. All right, so what looked like a slow start from Andrew was really a calculated plan of I've got the Saga on one. I'm going to play this Vault, get a key, and just have Force of World backup. That's all you need. Bumblings of the cards into a Vault key on the stack is so relatable, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so game 2 here. Run on the play starts off with a bizarre. Dredge doesn't start the game any other way, if it has any plan on winning. All right, so we draw 2. Let's see, what are we going to discard here? Looks like we've got a Grief on the other side, which is going to be a good way for Ron to kind of interact here. If he can kind of piece together what is happening on Webb's side. Webb playing kind of a weird deck. 2 Icarids and a Stinkweed go to the bin. It's going to make Dredge turns powerful. We are going to pitch what I believe was another 3rd Icarid, maybe, but we're going to Grief.
Ooh, shit.
And we kind of see a handful of mana, a Spell Pierce, which kind of doesn't do anything. Spell Pierce, you know, we'll protect against the Force of Will if that's the plan that we're on. But I kind of either want to take this top or this Lotus, maybe. Ron says, yeah, let's take the top.
I don't even know what exactly that card does. I just
It looks like we pitched
a lot of combos, so
Well, you look at it's like
ball therapy.
Look at the top 3, rearrange it, and you can swap this card for the top 3.
anytime someone's ever dropped a div top on the table, they've gone infinite and dropped a 4 afterwards. So that's my experience.
Okay.
So I pitch that, your grief goes into the graveyard.
Ron saying, anytime I see top, it's usually not in a fair deck.
Draw step, second main.
Reasonable. You know, you don't want your opponent to draw a million cards if you've seen them do it before, so let's take that. I think, sure, it's defensible. I mean, we did see Andrew on camera beat Stu by assembling Bolas' Citadel and Sensei's Divining Top, which did draw a million cards, or threatened to before Stu conceded, so we have the evidence. Alright, Dredge. Hit a Narcomoeba, hit a Creeping Trail. Not too bad. We don't have any more Dredgers, so we're going to end up drawing a second card.
Going to play, creeping chill,
You
3.
still have your second draw.
Yeah.
There's no more dredge, so you actually draw a card, right?
Yeah, so let's draw a card first before we resolve those other triggers. Alright, now we discard 3.
Then I'll discard 2 Stinkweeds and Icarid.
Alright, so it looks like we have a hand with Force of Will and possibly a... I think that was a Serum Powder, maybe? Maybe another blue card if we have a third card. I'm not sure we have a third card.
Yeah,
No, it's just Force of Will and Serum Powder. Okay, so we need a third card. Come back to our head. And we need a blue card.
as it is, I'm now.
But Ron knows that Andrew's got a Spell Pierce, so
I will dredge 5.
Force World doesn't really do much. Alright, we're gonna dredge this Stinkweed Imp.
I have
We hit another Stinkweed. Okay, so that'll be good for future turns. We have a bridge.
Dredge pile.
We have more dredgers.
Prized amalgam will become relevant. I think next turn at this point. Cabal therapy becomes irrelevant.
Cabal therapy is never irrelevant. That bad boy's got flashback.
Swing with a 3/1 Icarus.
Flashback cost is sacrifice your Narcomoeba.
I am going to flash that.
And that's what we should do here, right? We're gonna attack, and okay, we can sacrifice the Icarus after combat. That's smarter. Sure.
Experiment all cards with that name.
I'll respond with spell.
Yeah, and we'll spell pierce that. That's a good way to get spell pierce out of the hand. Sure.
I think second main that gets through that and mess.
That'll do it here. We seem to be missing our zombie from this bridge from below. We should have a zombie. We should keep the dredge train growing. Webb's going to go ahead, though, and deploy a ruby. We will fetch. I mean, we can make some tokens, make some constructs. But with this Lotus in hand and one mystery card, we don't have a lot of action. We just have a lot of mana. I mean, if our opponent's going to forget their zombie triggers, then I guess constructs are a fine plan. Forget our we forgot our zombie trigger and we forgot our prized amalgam. So that's okay. You know, vintage is hard, and dredge can be kind of complicated. Webb is going to deploy.
Okay, so sorcery speed.
It's a fairy.
Until your next turn, you may cast sorcery spells instead of flash.
Not too bad. That'll at least replace itself. We'll get to draw a card.
Yeah.
I guess we can bounce.
Targeting my Mock Sapphire.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Draw a card. Play the Sapphire. Play this Lotus.
It's cool that it cycles.
All right. Oh, I missed that card, Andrew Webb. Flash it back, please. What was it?
On the stack.
All right, Acre triggers on the stack. We will respond. That's a good way to sequence your dredge.
My first card that I'm drawing.
If you want to learn dredge, follow along. You do want to respond in your upkeep with your bazaar. Put more things in your graveyard for your Icarids to eat.
Dredge another 5.
Dredge another 5. Narcomoeba triggered, not bad. Reveal that we do have a one of Chalice here. We do have some Force of Vigors. Pretty standard. We do have a Creeping Chail trigger, so, and a another prized amalgam.
Now these
So we'll see if Ron can remember those.
one creeping chill. We have
Andrew at 10, Ron at 26.
everything else goes to the graveyard.
Yep, that's a dredger. Put that in your dredge pile. Prize amalgam. That's another dredger. Alright, step 1. Remember your Icarid triggers. Step 2. Remember your prized amalgam triggers. Actually, prized amalgam trigger because we have that Narcomoeba, so maybe we'll get those.
2 shambling shells and a Golgari thug to bring in all 3 Icarids.
So Andrew's draw here, not really landing up well against what Ron is doing.
Trigger is
Losing the top probably was kind of big game for what resources Andrew actually had this game. It looks like he's got a Flooded Strand in hand, so yeah, we're working with really nothing right here. We'll see if Ron has the foresight to attack the fairy off the table with 2 Narcomoebas, or at least with the Narcomoeba. Flying should be fine, or at least 2 Icarids to get past. No, we're just gonna go straight for it. Okay, maybe.
one of the Icarids triggers. All right.
We'll block the Ichrid. We'll go to 3.
That's fine. So
I'll
you'll
take
take
7.
you'll take 7.
Go to 3.
Go to 3. All right.
Sure, the attacking for the win. I think I would have thrown the Narcomoeba at the Teferi. But, you know, that's okay. So now this construct is a 5/5. We will cast a hollow one. Now,
These two things.
we missed... we've missed 2 zombie triggers so far.
These two things die.
Those die. We've missed 4 zombie triggers.
And these, and yes, and some, I was like, there's
Andrew helping out Ron, getting his prize amalgams out, and then Webb says, "Yeah, you get some zombies this time." Okay, so good guy Webb, not gonna let him miss his zombies here. So we've got 3 zombies. We could have had 4, and we could have attacked for lethal if we'd put our prized amalgam and our other zombie in play last turn. So Ron missed out on winning this game by missing some of his triggers the previous turn. That happens, you know. That's okay. Maybe Ron watches this match, sees that, says, "Oh, hey, don't forget my triggers." And you in chat, don't forget your triggers either, because you too might miss out on winning an important game by doing so. Now, that being said, Webb is at 3. Does not have enough blockers the next turn, so he's got this turn to find a way to get here. But we do have top number 2. So maybe we can find some shenanigans here. If we can maybe find, you know, a kitten to reset this to Teferi, then we draw a deck and win. We'll see. Okay, so we're going to draw here. All right, what do we got?
4 mana to play a 1 ring.
Oh, okay, so 1 ring gets us out of this. This is fine. We have protection from everything, which means all of these little dredge creatures. Webb has a pearl in hand. I think he's going to keep that on the off chance that he draws a cat, one of our cat beasts, as a way to just kind of keep triggering it. I think that makes sense, because that will allow you to win the game on the spot with this Teferi in play. Now, notably, Teferi does not have protection from everything, so Ron should take next turn to attack it down. We'll see if Ron realizes he can do that.
1 burn counter. What is that? You lose life during your upkeep for how many burn counters are on it?
1 ring at 3 life. He's a little difficult. All right, so we're going to draw our top and play it. We don't have a lot of life to pay, so we can't really fetch. We can't really afford to fetch here.
Upkeep.
So I think this Flooded Strand is just not going to do anything. Run and taps. Upkeep triggers.
Respond to it. Bizarre.
So we are going to put them on the stack. We'll see if we actually put them into play. We can't attack with them this turn, but we can make zombies out of them.
You'll gain a life, I won't take any damage.
It deals 2 damage. Okay.
So we do flip up a Creeping Shell. We say, what does this do with protection from everything? And the answer is nothing to Webb.
Dredge 5.
Ron gets to gain some life. Find the troll here. That's nice. Might put a little bit of octane into Ron's future dredges here.
Dredge pile. I will gain 3 life. I'll get dredge from below. 3.
Again, Ron has, as someone who is first time playing Vintage and first time playing this deck, has come up with a strategy in order to manage all of the different things happening in his graveyard. So he's got a dredge pile of dredgers. Those are in his graveyard. He's got these bridges from belows. Those are in his graveyard. He's got his Ichorids, so we can keep track of his Ichorid triggers. Those are also in his graveyard. And that's okay. Webb being very gracious in the way that Ron has organized his battlefield as a way to kind of keep track of stuff. We encourage that. This is good. So long as both players can reasonably understand what's happening in the game and is clear. We're okay with this here.
3.
Alright, so we are going to exile some black creatures. Ron's getting low on black creatures, though, so he may want to hold off a little bit, maybe get like 1 or 2, especially now that we have 2 bridges. We can make 2, 4 zombies.
Again, I know you have protection from everything, but...
Okay, so we do that. Teferi doesn't have protection. Attack Teferi. Go ahead, do it. Attack him now.
Now I'm actually going to draw for turn.
We're actually going to draw a card for the turn. Okay, we're not going to dredge. Great, I like that, actually. I like that quite a bit.
First main, nothing, move to combat.
Move to combat. Come on. Attack Teferi.
How big is that construct? I'll send 9 at. I can swing at Teferi, right? I'll send 9 at Teferi.
Yes! We found it. We found the line, everybody. We attacked Teferi. Great.
Main, nothing.
Alright, that takes away
Instant.
one of Webb's primary outs here. We can't draw
3 more zombies.
a cat beast and get out of this.
6 more zombies. So 6.
Not by itself. I mean, resetting the One Ring a whole bunch is still probably real good, but you know. All right, so Webb says, you know what? I can't afford to draw a land. I'm going to go down to 2. All right.
1 life from the One Ring.
I will on my upkeep, but I'm not going to play anything yet. On your instant, I'm going to activate Sensei Stop to look at the top 3 cards.
So we do want to fetch away the top of our library and take a look. We see 2 Force Wheels. Those are real bad. Those are real bad right now. And then a mystery card. That was real bad here. All right, things aren't looking good for Webb.
We go to 1.
And if he does not get out of this, then it will mean Ron did not miss out on his lethal attack a few turns back.
Use one of it to cycle Lorraine Reveal.
All right, cycle.
Island cycle.
Island cycle. Yeah.
Cycle Lord revealed. That's great. That will refresh our library. Get these 2 Force Wheels off the top. Do we even have any more lands? Yes, we do. We have another Tundra. Notably here, we should be at 1. We were at 3. We fetched down to 2. Upkeep. Burden counter. Sorry. Burden counter brings us down to 1. We're going to draw 2 cards in our turn. And now I suspect we top again.
My other floating mana to activate Sensei Stop and look at the top
Yep.
3 cards.
I'm gonna read Sensei Stop real quick.
All right, so I see an Academy and a Teferi. Yes. Okay, Teferi's on top, Academy is on the bottom, so we're not looking to play an Academy this turn. I think that makes sense. We have plenty of mana. We have a Lotus.
Top back on top.
We're going to draw our Teferi. Okay, what else do we got? So we have a Saga. I don't like the Saga. I mean, if that's the only land we've got, then sure. All right,
Yeah, I fetch on your step, and then I put that Tundra in my hand.
what do we got? All right, so we've got. Are we casting this Teferi? Yes. Okay.
To bounce the One Ring.
Bounce the One Ring back to your hand.
We're going to bounce the One Ring, okay, so we can replay that and get our protection back again. Okay, this is the strategy.
Let's sack this blue.
We're going to find a way to get there. We're going to cash in this Lotus so we can replay this ring and get our trigger. We cannot draw cards with it, though.
Cards graveyards or libraries.
Okay,
Players
graveyard.
can't cast spells from graveyards.
Okay, so Rum's dredging days are not nearly as helpful now. We can't get Narcomoebas, we can't get prized amalgams.
I was supposed to draw this on the Teferi minus ability because it draws the cards.
The turn, target artifact creature.
Okay, we missed our draw part of the trigger. I mean, we'll get it back. That makes sense. I'm on board.
You did reveal. You still have another Tundra in your hand.
Yeah, so you know
I know the Tundra. I know the Tundra and the Dipton. Okay.
Okay, so we pass no mana up.
You have protection from everything.
He's protected from everything. We can't draw cards. We're at 1 life. We do resolve a cage, which is, you know, kind of means the brakes get pumped here for Ron. We don't have the ability to get other things. And other cards, you know, maybe we can draw some green cards to maybe and like a Force of Vigor to do that. I think we've got a Stinkwood Imp and maybe a Force of Will in hand, but
on the stack. I mean, you can try to exile a card, but they'll just stay in the graveyard.
So
So we are going to dredge. Okay.
I want to draw 2.
No, we're actually just going to draw. We're not going to dredge. Okay. Well, we only have 1 card in hand. This doesn't really get us anywhere. It just puts cards in the graveyard. So we get to like mill 2 cards. Discard our card. And go take our draw step. You did miss the Swiss rounds. This is the quarterfinals. The match right before this one was you and I, man. You were there. That's okay. You'll catch on the replay. It'll go to YouTube too. You missed the 6 minutes of carnage though.
I'll send. I have 4 untapped and 5 tapped at Teferi.
All right, we're gonna nuke Teferi again. Found the line again. And Andrew's going to get to untap
Best.
for his 3rd turn after having ring protection. Okay. We are still down resources. We're kind of down a Lotus now, too. Saga token, not big enough. Ron has gained some number of life with our Creeping Chills. I believe he's at 29. All right, Tinker. Oh, there's a Tinker. Oh. We don't have a key and we don't have a vault, so we are away from there. That's not going to help us here. We don't have enough life to do anything with Bolas' Citadel. But you know what? We'll see, We could Tinker for any number of things. Tinker's still a good card. If anything, it resets the top of our library. Maybe that's cool too.
Alright, I guess I'm drawing a card.
So if you hear the Star Wars in the background, I believe this was happening on May 4th. So the venue was absolutely playing all the Star Wars stuff, which is great. Good vibes, right? So we're at a pizza bar brewery. So they have their own beer. They make their own pizza. This place is great. Great place to have an event. It's kind of our thing. We just go crash a place that we know is sweet, play sweet magic, have some beer, have some good food.
I guess I'm going to start by tapping this for color.
All right, so we've drawn a card, which means we have to bounce our ring or reset it somehow this turn, or we will lose on our next upkeep, because Andrew Webb is at 1. Okay, let's see. We found another 1 ring. That is a good way to reset the ring. Okay, so this is going to be the 3rd turn in a row. Webb has protection from everything, and Ron just kind of has to spin wheels. Just draw a card. Don't activate. Good job. Perfect. All right. Looks like a black card that might be Creeping Chill. That might have been.
Tap Bazaar, I'll draw 2.
What are we doing? No, we don't need to activate Bazaar. Let's get another card in our hand. All right. Well, what did we draw? Show us, Mr. Ron. We're gonna keep that 1 card. We're gonna discard these 3. If you've never tried to play Bazaar fairly, you have to take a little time in between your activations, because otherwise you don't tend to like keep cards in your hand. 2 Force of Vigors? No! We could have drawn those Wasteland. Okay, wasting the Saga, I can get behind that, but we could have just like drawn those Force of Vigors and I don't know, Force of Vigor a token and something and force this Saga.
So swinging at you is
But we did get rid of the Saga, so that does remove Webb's path to victory next turn of grabbing the key and tinkering for Vault. So let's just see if he just lucks his way out of it and draws it within the top here.
If you have protection, can you even get it? Can you even attack people with protection? It just doesn't do anything.
You can attack, yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
If you have like, you know.
Step 1, play top off a soul ring. Step 2, use second soul ring mana to tap. 1, 2, 3. Looks like Academy. Ooh, there's a key. Was that a key? Or a soul guide lantern? Ooh, that was fast. Yeah, I would love to go back to this venue and play another event. They've got plenty of space for us, which was nice. Notably, it's inside seating, which on a day like today it was raining, so we pivoted to here midway through the event. Or actually, round 2 we came over here. But it's inside seating, which in Texas is wonderful because Texas is very hot. Austin, Texas gets very hot in the summer. Don't want to play Magic outside in the heat. It'd be nice to go here. There's a lot of cool venues. Webb pondering his turn. He's at 1 life, right? So activating this ring is not free. His top wasn't spectacular. It sounds like we don't have mana. We don't have life to fetch with, so we can't reshuffle that way. The only reshuffle we got here is our Tinker, and it looks like that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and Tinker here and try to find.
2, 3, 4. You tapping 5?
No, I already used this for playing and activating that.
I think we're going to Tinker away here and attempt to find a.
And sacrifice the construct, I'll exile your 2 grudges.
One of our combo pieces. So we get the Time Vault and then hope that we can get a key. You know, off the top here.
Lightsteel Colossus. A hasty double strike.
Okay, so there was a Soul Guide Lantern on top. Okay, so he's pulling the key aside. I don't think we'd have mana with the key because we have to.
Like normal Tinker targets to matter.
We have to have enough mana to activate this. Activate the key here. So don't get the key. Don't get the key.
Ready to get a Time Vault?
All right, we're gonna get the key because it's probably a good way to. Interact with it with the top here. I don't know. I think my only the only out here, right, is we have to Tinker for the Time Vault, draw a card with the 1 ring, draw a card with the top, and then hope that one of them is the. Or we can't even draw a card with the 1 ring because it kills us. We're a 1. We have to draw a card with the top and hope it was like the thing. We're just gonna. We've already got rid of our Tinker. How are we going to? Okay, so that's a ancestral. We don't have any more mana. What are we doing? I'm so interesting here. What is Andrew's thinking here? What are we thinking?
Recall target me.
I guess we're just in desperation mode. We're just gonna see what we do, right? We've used our Lotus. I guess we technically have like Mana Crypt.
Okay.
And no, we just don't find anything. All right. So Ron does get game 2. We end up not being punished by missing our lethal attack a couple turns before, which is good. Risky. Don't miss your triggers, everybody. Get your triggers.
Is Ponder restricted in Vintage?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It just unrestricted.
Yeah, I'm gonna shuffle.
Is Ponder restricted? So this is our second event that we've had since Ponder's unrestriction. Kind of a cool thing, right? This deck gets to play some number of Ponders if it wants to.
I'm good, man.
Webb being on the play here, I think the fact that he gets to start with Ponder is a good sign. He has some action. We're going to draw a card. Looks like we've got at least a Mox in hand. And we're going to go ahead and start with a Grafdigger's Cage, which will significantly hinder Ron's ability. But end step, Ron says, oh, 2 Force of Vigors down the hatch.
Upkeep. Draw.
There goes Andrew's best laid plans.
Bizarre Baghdad.
Notably, we have a Lotus in hand, so we did play around the Vigor by not casting this Lotus. I like that.
A Creeping Chill into Grief.
Play the Chalice. Yes, Chalice on 0. All right, so notably no Dredger for Ron, but not a bad start. We were able to get rid of the problematic piece counterplay here and deploy our own chalice to kind of hinder Andrew's plan. So this Lotus not only didn't get, we didn't play it, so it didn't get vigored, but it also doesn't get to get cast now. That's okay. Webb goes ahead, deploys a land, passes the turn. We do have a Tabernacle in hand, so we do have a safety valve of sorts.
Play another Baghdad.
Play another Baghdad. You got it.
Tap a Baghdad. Draw 2.
Chat, when you shorthand Bazaar Baghdad, are you calling it Bazaar or are you calling it Baghdad? Are there advantages to either? Disadvantages to either? Let me know. Ooh, we're discarding a hollow one. If we're not following up with 2 more hollow ones, then I'm not sure what we're doing, because Force of Will, this is not a matchup where I guess I want to Force of Will, but...
Nothing. Instant trigger.
Definitely Bizarre. This was the first time playing. Yeah, this is the first time playing Vintage. And first time playing Dredge in Vintage, so... all things considered, right? He's made top 8, so he's had some good plays so far to get here through the rounds.
Untap.
I believe he had 2 losses in the Swiss. I think I might have been one of them.
How does upkeep cost work? Is that the first thing that I have to do?
It goes on the trigger. It goes on the stack at the same time as your Icarus trigger. Active player triggers go on the stack first. Mine goes on top, so you'll have to make a decision on this before you make a decision on Icarus.
Okay, that's fine. I'll lose my 2/2 zombie.
All right, so we lose the zombie. Figure out how Tabernacle works.
Okay, so I'll draw 2.
Notably, that's not how Tabernacle works. Tabernacle grants the ability to the creature. So, in this case, Ron's upkeep triggers, he gets to choose how they get stacked because his zombie has the trigger and his Icarid has the trigger. So, I believe his zombie, he gets to, because he controls both triggers, he actually gets to choose the order they go on the stack. End result end up being the same, right? We get to put our Icarid into play, it doesn't come into play, and then we have to sacrifice it. But small little technicality.
Move to combat.
That used to come up in because it becomes your own trigger. If you miss it in a match, this came up in Legacy a lot against lands. If you miss it, you actually get the warning, even though it's your opponent's card, and your opponent should be responsible for reminding you. So then you lose your creature because you missed your own trigger. You don't get the benefit of putting it on the stack and deciding to pay for it, and you get a warning for missing your own triggers for quote unquote your cards. Weird templating from back in the day with Tabernacle here.
Instant trigger. Icarus dies. I'll get a 2/2 zombie. Pass turn.
So we'll pull this up, and we're going to pull up the MTGO version just because it's a little bit clearer to read. All creatures have at the beginning of your upkeep sacrifice a creature unless you pay 1. So your creature ends up getting the ability. So now that's the case, yes. If you miss that trigger, it's not a May, so you do have to you get to place on the stack now. Back in the before times, because this is where I'm remembering it used to come up. The rules, I think, the way they handled those interactions was a little bit different. And I know some people who had Judge's rule, before 2020, in some of those events that you missed the trigger, you didn't pay. That's how that was resolved then. Obviously, it's a bit cleaner now in how they've defined sort of the rules and how those things get handled. But it gets weird. Tabernacle's a weird card.
2 cards in hand.
I like now that you actually get a point, because you're right, it is not a choice. You don't get to choose no or yes. Like,
Get broke.
but back then, I think the way the rules were written, like it's your trigger and it's like beneficial, like for you to forget it. So that's why you get like this warning. I think. I'm not a judge. Please, like, you know, let me know if I'm like actually just misremembering completely back then. But I think that's why you get the warnings and like you lost your stuff. Like your opponent gets to say, "Oh no, you chose not to pay." I clearly saw you not tap your lands. You clearly chose not to pay. I think that's the argument. I don't know. It's very angle shooty, especially considering Tabernacle's your opponent's card. But back at our match here, we see this Tabernacle giving Ron the business here. We're kind of managing just off of Icarids here. Is really all that we got, right? Yeah, it was a lot harsher back then. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There were a lot of things. You know, we used to, like Spirit of the Labyrinth right now gives you game warnings. Back then we used to call it Spirit of the Game Loss because you know, someone would cast a Brainstorm, you'd violin Spirit of the Labyrinth, and then they'd draw 3 cards and lose the game on the spot due to drawing extra cards and getting a game loss. Now it's a warning. Probably makes more sense. You know?
I'll pitch Stinkweed Imp to one of the Icarids. Other trigger will fizzle, whatever you want to call it. This will come in at my end step.
Okay. So we're still doing our dredgy things. We just don't really have a way to kind of navigate this Tabernacle. Ron's gonna attempt to resolve this chalice here, and Andrew says no. This is kind of my. I'm gonna cast my zeros. One of the few easy paths to victories I have, other than my sideboard cards.
Swinging you for 3.
All right, we're not gonna knock down the Teferi. We're gonna go knock down Web.
Second main. Nothing. Second main. I'll do my Bazaar.
Okay, so we're gonna activate Bazaar.
Another prized amalgam and an Archimedes.
Ambitious.
End step triggers.
Okay, so don't miss this. This prized amalgam triggers the prized amalgam we just put into our graveyard. So now, on the next turn, we should get our prized amalgam. The end of Webb's turn. Now, it's not going to matter with this Tabernacle. But don't miss your triggers, everybody. Don't miss them.
Yeah.
You lost the flip.
Talking to you.
I wasn't gonna.
Thank you.
I'll plus Teferi, and I'm gonna
So
play
he
4 mana.
One ring protection for everything until your next.
flashed this in.
The One Ring versus Dredge, man. Just, oof.
Upkeep. This will die. Trigger.
All right, we missed our prized amalgam trigger, everybody.
Do both.
And what have I told you?
Sending the Icarids.
Don't miss your triggers.
I will draw for turn.
That's okay. Dredge is complicated. There's a, like, you play Magic, but you don't really play Magic. Casually, there's graveyard layout. Yeah, I think, you know, if we're going to follow this graveyard layout methodology, right, you have your dredge pile, you have your bridge pile, then you have your I got triggered off of cards coming into play pile, you know. Put it in the same pile as your Icarids, I guess. I don't know. But we did, maybe we didn't want to. Maybe we missed it on purpose. As you see, he exiled one of them. I don't know. We could have had 2 extra zombies in play to cast a
Trigger. I'll get 2 zombies.
Cabal therapy or something.
2 untapped zombies, and my Icarids will go back to the base.
End of your turn, I'll draw.
Upkeep trigger down to 6.
We could have had 3 zombies. 3 zombies is better than 2 zombies. All right, we need to start taking some natural draw steps. So we're never going to draw Wasteland for this Tabernacle, which is the mode that I think Dredge should be in right now, because I think Andrew's going to be able to beat these Icarids at this pace. Especially for, well, we're going to draw a bunch of extra cards here. We've got a Kitten in hand. We've got a Tinker. I think that's the game. Yeah, we draw cards, tinker away the ring, deploy this Academy. Okay, well, this is net neutral if we deploy the Academy, right? Do we have a land drop this turn? Did I miss that?
Playing Academy.
Okay, there's the Academy. All right.
That's the
Let's tinker.
for how many artifacts you control, which is currently 3. Okay.
Play time vault.
Okay.
We have it. We just have it.
I'm gonna make 4 mana.
Take the turns.
Use 1.
Tinker away this thing that's killing you, and then we've got the game. All right. There we go. All right, Ron figured it out. Andrew Webb got it. Power of like an unanswered tabernacle there, right?
Trying to get
Ron had the force for the cage.
Mainly
Didn't have the draw steps for the tabernacle. Didn't get to the wasteland. Gave Andrew plenty of time to kind of figure out his game plan, and off the back of drawing all these extra cards with One Ring, got there. So Andrew Webb does advance to our semifinals. That's what comes after quarters, which is great. So we're gonna go ahead and jump straight into our semifinals match. This is a semifinal match between myself. Actually, I did squeak in top 8. Like I said, I did win my previous round. Funny enough, round 5, right? You saw me get savaged by goblins. Quarterfinals was a rematch of Justin on goblins and me. So we just kind of played each other twice. That one didn't quite go the same way. He did not draw the one-ofs in his deck that lined up perfectly against my plans, and I was able to, disrupt, kind of get there. And now you're going to see me go ahead, and we're going to go ahead jump into this one here. It's going to be me on the left-hand side playing against Ian. So Ian, again, we saw on camera earlier in the Swiss, is playing his, what's listed as 4-color Loris control. It feels very Banty, maybe a little bit of black here and there for a few things. He's got Luris. I don't. I'm again on a blue workshop deck. I did squeak in at 6th seed, so I kind of had some of the better tiebreakers, I think, of some of our X2s out of 5 rounds, so that was good. Go ahead and open up on a Saga and a Mox Jet and an Automaton here. Yes, the player on the left is playing a blue shops deck. You can find the deck list actually on stonesmtg.com. It is one of our posted deck lists for our top 8. So it's got some of the Security Infiltrators. It's got some Nettle Cysts. It's got some Force of Wills, some Thought Monitors, some of the blue power. Ian wastes the Urza's Saga there. And I don't have a follow-up play. Just kind of let this sit here. The shop's deck definitely seems to kind of hum on 3 mana. There's a lot of 3 mana cards that it wants to play here. So not having a 3rd mana source is certainly a unfortunate position to be in here. Ian's gonna go ahead and deploy a Lavinia here. Fire back with a Force, because forces are going to be good otherwise if this resolves. And Ian has his own set of forces to back this up. So that's going to make the follow-up plays a little bit more difficult. Yeah, who's that player on the left? Who's that guy? Anyone know him? And more importantly, why does his Monk's Jet look like a red Elemental Blast? What's up with that? Man. So the shop's deck now kind of at a tight spot. It does have a lot of 0 mana artifacts, but I mean, we have this triple Saga draw, right? We now have the ability to start making tokens, and that might still be big enough to kind of punch through here. See how things develop. Ian kind of thinking about his options. Has a full grip of all sorts of stuff. There's Robert here on the left. There's 2 cards in hand. And they don't seem to be very good ones because he hasn't cast anything. It's possible we can't cast them. Maybe we don't have enough lands now. Can't cast Nettlesys with a Lavinia in play like this. And these lands are going to kind of go away and really prevent Rob from casting anything.
It's hard versus the fight. There's so many versatile fights. What just happened?
So we fetch in shovels here. And we'll see what damage you can do here. Alright, so we're going to remove Delta, make some mana. Deathrite doing some work here. We're going to have a plow, and we're going to pay for the ward. Something you don't normally see. Normally this thing just sort of reads hexproof. But you can interact with it if you have the mana. Ian does have the mana. We get there. Make a token. Can't do much else. Untap. These guys tick up. And triggers on the stack. What are we doing? We could make a construct and grab like a Mox or something. Sneak a Mox into play under this Lavinia. That would be okay. Still won't be a land. Our land count's gonna go down, and that's gonna make it difficult to play other spells. It's kind of a tight spot, right? This Lavinia is gonna put a squeeze on this triple Saga draw. So maybe we just like make a bunch of tokens, and then hope that that is our path to victory here.
Assuming this is game 1.
So notably, one of the fun things this deck gets to do off of Saga is we can go grab an expedition map, which can get us an academy, and the academy will get us out of maybe some of this mana hole that we might be finding ourselves in. The thought. That is what I do. I do grab the expedition map.
I did not see that one so big.
We had a guy.
Ian says he does not see that one coming.
He wanted his pizzas for us to be a
Certainly something.
Alright, so I get an expedition map in play.
Notable for its legality in the format.
Vintage staple, notable for its legality in the format. Yep. Battle for 4. Alright. So, I mean, Lavinia kind of stopping a lot of what could come out of the shop stack here. The best out is for Ian to have nothing. Unfortunately, he has the opposite of nothing. We have a reader, pest control. Let's put pest control up here so you can see why I lose everything.
I figured that was something like that was going to happen.
So, pest control. New card out of the vault of the latest standard set. Black-white, sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents with mana value 1 or less. So, I end up losing everything to the pest control, followed by this wasteland. And now as Lavinia, I'm not casting any spells. I'm pretty much done. So I have a hand of some blue cards, some Force of Wills. I'm pretty sure I've got like a Nettlesys that I can't cast. And he's just eating my sagas and making me sad. We get a Loris. Loris is going to pretty much put me into a bad spot. So, pest control, right? This card is great in Vintage. Was wonderful in Ian's deck all week long, or not all week, but all day long. And to add insult to injury, Ian follows up with a Collector Oof, which means like I've got a basic land, maybe a second basic land that can tap from colored mana. My Seat of the Synod won't do anything, so I throw in the towel there. Move on to game 2. I'm going down to 6. It appears. Alright, so it looks like, what in my hand? We have a Force Negation, a Seat of the Synod. It looks like I'm pitching the Seat of the Synod. We got a Basic Island, a Thought Monitor, a Saga. And what was the card that looks like a the card behind the Saga? I can't tell my own cards now. Saga go. Strip Mine. Lotus. Ah. Vintage. I'm going to force a negation this Lotus because otherwise I'm like just stone dead to whatever's happening on Ian's side. And Ian just say, yeah, it's getting removed. Pitch a Thought Monitor. We do Pithing Needle. Name Urza Saga so we don't have to strip mine it. Which makes this basic island in my hand, like, unfortunate. But, you know, so be it. Looks like that's a workshop. So the other land in my hand is a workshop. Which is good. I haven't seen a workshop this match yet. I don't have anything to capitalize with it, though. It doesn't,
What am I doing? Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I just played this island. I played this island straight into the strip mine. Don't know why. Especially when we consider the
Just let you strip my island. What? I'm so bad at this game. Yeah, he's always in the fence.
You heard me, everybody. I'm so bad at this game.
Cards in hand. 6.
Alright, what am I getting? Seat of the Synod in hand, Workshop in hand. A, 2 other mystery cards? Maybe I grab a Lotus? Do I have anything fun to do with the Lotus? It's not in my deck. I'm looking for something that may or may not be in my deck.
It's a thought. I don't think that's where we are.
Alright, looks like I've pulled the map. Alright, I find it. There's the Lotus. I did not board out Lotus. Alright. What am I doing off the back of this Lotus?
Workshop.
Workshop and Lotus. Alright, 6 mana. We're going to... Oh, we have looks like a Sicarian Infiltrator in hand. Okay.
3.
Human with the white sleeves? I don't know. Sure. Alright.
Infiltrator squad.
Let's pull this up.
So you get 3 of these.
Have 3.
If I could, like, remember how to spell this thing.
I figure it's gonna get the force that's in your hand. Yeah.
I can't even remember how to spell this card.
Go ahead.
Alright. Let's see. There we go. Oh, nope. Go back. I found it. Alright. So this card is sweet. Sicarian Infiltrator. This thing's got 3, it costs 3. Blue, 2 colors. 1, 2. It's got Flash and Squad 2. Because it is an artifact, this squad ability is part of the casting it, and you can use Workshop mana to cast it. So when I attempted to Black Lotus in Workshop, I attempted to play the squad, get 2 copies, draw 2 cards. I got Force of Willed, so I'm sad about that. You don't get to see cool copies. But I am able to draw into a Nettle Cyst here. Nettle Cyst is big. is a 4/4 because it discount enchantments, and Ursa Saga is an enchantment. People do forget that sometimes. Securian Infiltrator is a big reason to kind of play blue. Kind of replaces your thought casts. You can cast it off of your workshop. It's great. Pitches to Force of Will. Making tokens is cool. It does also work with the synthesizer, right? Let me pull it up here. So Simulacrum Synthesizer. Comes to play a Scry 2. Remember that this thing scries. I forgot that the first half of the tournament because I'd never played the card. Whenever an artifact with mana cost 3 or greater enters the battlefield, you make a construct. Securian Infiltrator costs 3. Its copies also cost 3. So you will squad this for 2, and you will go ahead and make a bunch of tokens. Cool part of this deck. A lot of fun. So Chad is pointing out that yes, I am doing commentary. I'm also playing the match. If that's not dedication, that's just, then you can call it a pre-recording. Which is what this is. This Matches of Magic has already happened. It happened a couple weeks back, May the 4th. Ian responds to my Nettlesis though by swordsing the Germ token and deploying another Death Rat here. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch for something fun. Probably a Pithing Needle, because there's 2 Death Rats opposing me. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Pithing Needle. Alright. Attack Ian's mana. If you have the stream muted, then you'll have no idea that we are the same people. And that's fine. Not a problem at all. Alright, so these squires come in to attack. If you love paper vintage, New York Stock Exchange is around the corner. It is a premier paper vintage event. Highly recommended. I hope they have coverage. In the past, they've had some semblance of something. Coverage is really hard for Magic, though. And this New York Stock Exchange this year is kind of leveled up in its pricing, so the costs have leveled up as well. I think tickets to the event are, multiple 3 figures. But should be a blast. I can't wait to see what comes of it, especially because Modern Horizon 3 is now kind of out, and there's some key cards there, right? Yeah, 500. Chat's saying 500. Well, chat will say 500 for you in a moment. I'm a little early. But yeah, so I think Modern Horizons 3, some of those cards are going to make an impact. This is kind of like the last event, so kind of wanted to make sure it got showed today, bring this to you today, because I wanted to make sure that it's not completely lame duck format, because Modern Horizons 3 is out. So here we are. Ian here follows up with a Tarmogoyf. Still a big baddie here in this format, 5 power here. I do have the automaton here suited up. I was able to cobble that together. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artifacts in play, plus the 1/1, so it is a 6/6.
I have all 6 in my yard, so you don't have source.
It is a 6/6 versus the 6/7 Tarmogoyf. So this Tarmogoyf is currently bigger. It won't take much, though, to make my automaton larger here. And that's all it takes, right? We get a Mox Pearl, goes to 7 power, goes to 8 power. Deploy the Seed of the Synod, goes to 9 power. And we're just gonna battle for 9 here. Ian doesn't have any good blocks. Nobody to trade. Doesn't trample. So we say, okay, yeah, we'll throw that under the bus, preserve some life total. So despite, you know, the Pithing Needle stopping the sagas, he answered my Pithing Needle for his own death rights. Despite all some of these things, Nettle Cyst is proving to be strong, right? Makes a token, they have to answer it, makes this other thing. Ian's gonna cast Pest Control. Pest Control wrecked my world last game. So I'm gonna lose some of these artifacts, and my token, my guy's gonna get smaller. But I do get to keep my creature. I do get to keep Nettle Cyst. Tarmogoyf stays at 6 power. I've got 4 artifacts in play. Automaton's already is still 6/6. That's gonna drop down, make him a 5/5. But we're gonna play a Lodestone Golem, and this thing's gonna get big again. So 1 artifact is all it needs, and this thing is already bigger than the Tarmogoyf again, despite the pest control. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, it's 2. That's 2 counts.
yep, got 2 counters.
This is still 6, right?
Yep. So we battle.
Battle, I get that, it's still 6. Yeah.
We can beat this Tarmogoyf in combat. Ian takes the damage, and we have a chance. We have a chance. Ian can't target the automaton at the moment. It's got ward. We can play another roadblock though.
It costs 3, yes, thank you.
And it costs 3. I miss it, but it does cost 3 because of Lodestone Golem. So Ian
That's why I played it.
says, okay, hey, I've got 2 cards in hand, one of which is a Tarmogoyf I can't cast. And the other card is a land that we need to cast this Tarmogoyf. Alright, so we're probably at a life total where we cannot afford not to jump block here. And
We're going to play first a Metamorph.
we're going to Metamorph here. Make another Lodestone. You cannot cast your Tarmogoyf anymore. So now we can battle in. The Tarmogoyf is much too small.
Go ahead.
And this looks pretty locked up here for me. And yeah, Ian goes ahead and scoops that one up. So Ian is ahead 1 game. I'm ahead. We're tied 1 game apiece, right? We're gonna go to game 3. And we will see what happens. So, Modern Horizon 3, what Modern Horizon cards are you looking for? Oh, wait, Ian says, hey, let's play this Collector Oof. And I look at my hand, and it is not Oof proof.
There's an emerald.
I had to double check.
And Force, Pitch. I'm looking at this Force, saying, do I want to just pitch this Force, or do I want to pitch a different blue card? I say Force, Pitch, Force, and he says, hey, you know what? I've got a Force as well. I can't beat this Force. I don't have another blue card. If I had a you know, like 2 more blue cards in hand, I drew this with a Force too, right? Like how unlucky is that? Damage is already done. Oof is in play. I don't have a good answer to this other than make something that's bigger, and I don't have the option to do that without.
Go ahead.
Bad and naughty.
If I can force it, it's oof proof. Yeah, nope. I'm not oof proof. It's not oof proof because he had Force. But look, I have the other Force of Will. I did. I drew it. Oh man. Draw another Mox. And I have this Seed of the Synod, which is very embarrassing against an oof.
Just really getting the value out of it.
Curious to see though what MH3 cards show up in at the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, Vintage is an eternal format. Decks aren't going to change dramatically, I don't think. Vexing Bauble may, hit or miss, right? We'll see. You know, reviews are mixed. It'll be kind of interesting. There's some other interesting cards out of there.
I think Pest Control is amazing in this format.
Incredibly good.
Yeah.
For the value,
Talking about pest control.
wipe like that, I can't think of anything quite like it actually.
Goofy beats.
What one? Engineered.
All right. Float one. What am I grabbing? I don't remember it being terribly impactful here. Looks like I'm looking for a pithing needle, which makes sense. I can name like a wasteland or a strip mine or something.
Yes, please.
Not much else I can do with this oof and play.
What do you want to name?
Wait, you would want to name.
Yeah. I'm gonna name Death Threat Shaman.
All right. We named Death Rat Shaman. I suppose makes sense. You know, great in the spot. Land. Yeah, land would be wonderful in this spot. Name Death Rat Shaman to at least maybe slow down Ian from anything from his. He's gonna cycle pest control.
That's why I love that card.
Embarrassment. Like, I mean, he can't cast it. He doesn't have black mana, but like, it would nuke my entire board, even though none of it does anything. Ancestral Recall. Me, yeah. Sounds great. Things aren't looking good for our hero here. Unless your hero is Ian. And then here's this wasteland. I was worried about drawing a wasteland, because like my out here is the academy.
People can play well.
Academy will let me play a threat that will tangle with this oof. Unfortunately, I draw the wrong land.
I was watching last night.
Ian deploys another Terminator. Terminator resolves. And I very quickly am pretty much out of resources. I have a synthesizer in hand. If I can get an academy, I can make a pretty big turn. But
It's like this format.
it's not looking good.
Go ahead.
Nope, no academy this turn. All right.
Yeah, sure.
That hurts my artifact count for the academy, and I am dead. Super dead. No, there's the academy. There it is.
Let's see. That would have done.
Is that Tabernacle or what is that?
Yeah. So that's the academy. It looks like I've got what, a simulacrum synthesizer and a
Figures you wasted.
something I can copy, so I could like make a copy of like Tarmogoyf and make another like construct or something.
And I'm more to like make.
Yeah. You know what? That's okay. Ian does advanced to the finals in that match. And we'll go ahead and get to that match here shortly. So I finish fourth there. Great fun. And in the previous top four match, we had Paul versus Andrew Webb. So we saw Andrew Webb beat Dredge in our quarterfinals match. He then went on to play against Paul. We saw Paul round one on his Grixis Breach deck. So Grixis Breach, his deck did end up defeating Andrew Webb. And so we're going to go catch him in the finals against Ian in a long, grindy, kind of slugfest. It'll be lots of fun. So let's talk about what these players are playing for, right? This is one of our vintage events in our season. If you win this, you do get to go to our invitational. Invitational is a multi-format event. We play middle school, which is like pre-modern, and then we also play vintage. Play 3 rounds of each, cuts a top 4, battle out with vintage to declare a champion. If you want to see what that event is like, we do have a number of previous streams on our YouTube channel you can check out. You can see what that's like. What is middle school? We have a lot of videos about middle school. If you know what pre-modern is, but you're like, what is middle school? It's very, very similar, slightly different ban lists, a little bit different in sets that are legal. There's some additional supplemental sets legal in middle school. Highly recommend you check it out. But in addition to our spot in Invitational, there are playing for some cool prize cards. We can talk about those here for a moment. So, see this Black Lotus. If you win our Invitational, you get this Black Lotus this year. It is a kind of pixelated, retro-y Black Lotus. This is cool. We have some Mox Jets. We have the Mox Emerald. We have all the Moxen. Emerald we've given out already once this year. And what we're going to give away for this event, we're giving away the Mox Pearl. So these players are playing for a Mox Pearl sort of token proxy card. And they are playing for that Mox Pearl right there. They're also playing for a spot in Invitational. We also do have some, these are cash events, so they do play with cash prizes to top 8, so our players are playing for some of that as well. It's a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch our final round of Magic and see who walks away the winner of RTS 33. Again, if you like spoilers, the results are on our website, but we want you to watch this because it's a lot of fun. So here you go. All right, so again, we have Paul Garrett on left, 4th seed, Ian on the right, 7th seed, and this is the Mox Pearl. This is what you're playing for. This is what they're playing for. Right here. It's pretty sweet. Highly recommend you come out to some of our events so you have a chance to win something like that as well. And look, this is our venue, right? These are the pizzas. There's beer, good beer at this place. There's these little personal pizzas you can just order and get delivered straight to you all night long. That was a lot of fun. Come to our events because there are really cool places that do cool stuff like this. So you can play Magic and just have a sweet, awesome, good time. Paul being 4th seed is going to be on the play. He's going to go ahead and start us off with an Underground Sea. And make some motions like he's going to cast something and then decide, nope, I'm good. Passes the turn to Ian here. Looks like he does have a Force and a blue card at the ready. Notably towards the top of his pile, so he's ready to counter something important. Flip it over. All right, Ian starting off with a Demonic Tutor. And we're going to recall in response. Ian says, yeah, that resolves. Paul has an Embarrassment of Riches, and we're going to let that resolve.
The two people in the finals keep drawing Ancestrals on the top.
Right.
I know, right? It's stupid. I feel like I see
We've had a number of Ancestrals off the top.
This is what we're here to do.
it's the least restricted, most restricted card.
Again, one of the best things about Magic the Gathering is the gathering. You hear some of the other participants of the event around having fun.
Played 3-card Monty.
Dude with the paint sleeves has that shit on. Yeah. Who is that guy?
Oh, you 2 different Lavinia. I don't even have to know. Yeah,
But yes, our events are a lot of fun, not just because it's fun to play Magic, but because it's fun to hang out too. And even if you lose, you don't make top 8, you get crushed in the quarterfinals or something. Place like this, you still have beer and pizza, so you get to hang out, watch the rest of the match. You can't really ask for a better vibe. So, Paul doing us all a favor by casting Tutaxian Probe and letting us see this hand of Lauren Reveals, Force of Negations, a Lavinia, and a Wasteland. So we're going to be able to resolve this Lavinia next turn off the back of Lauren Revealed here. And Force Negation won't be doing much to protect Lavinia on Ian's turn, but Paul resolves a Ponder, spreads out his hand, and has just a lot of cards. An Embarrassment of Riches there, I think. We got some zeros, so we're going to get to avoid the cleanup step, it looks like here. Looks like what? We have a Brain Freeze, a Paradoxical Outcome.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately, we didn't aim the card on the camera better, so we can't see what that is. But I appreciate the effort, good sir. We do have a Saga we can deploy. You know, we've got a Force of Will in hand. We got a fair number of good cards here. Looks like a Volcanic at the end. We'll pass the turn there. Draw a card off of our bauble. Ian looks at the card that we all know. Now, notably, we are not going to deploy Lavinia this turn. Notably, we've deployed this Wasteland, so we are priced out of Lavinia. But we have black and white, so that could be a pest control. Pest control could knock out this Mox. It's probably aggressive. Ian says, hey, you know what? You don't have any colored mana, and this Saga's going to go away. So, cash in this Wasteland for the one colored source you have. Unfortunately, Paul does have a Lore Unrevealed, so we're going to go ahead and grab a colored source. So our plan of taking us off colors, not completely effective, but you know what? That's okay. Just set Paul back a turn a little bit. Notably means we're not going to be able to cash this in for tokens this turn. We're not going to be able to make windmills or constructs.
Now we know what goes through Paul's head. That's why those songs. You got it.
No stifles.
No stifles called. Alright, Ian does get his Lore Unrevealed. Island cycling here. We go ahead and grab Tropical Island, which will help us cast this Lavinia. Spall did take his turn to deploy a key. Key has turned in to be a great card. Yes, it does enable the Vault Key combo, but just being able to make creatures unblockable too. Really good angle with these Saga tokens. Alright, we take the turn now to deploy the Linnea. This is going to be a good litmus test. What can Paul afford to fight with? We saw the ability, we saw earlier that Ian didn't have the ability to fight before. Chose not to cast it now. Now we have two mystery cards. So it's possible he can fight over it now. Now Paul does have a Force of Will. Very likely do not want this Lavinia to resolve. We'll strand this Force of Will, most of all. Alright, looks like we have identified a card to pitch to Force of Will. We're going to pitch Paradoxical Outcome. That's fine, right? You know, we don't really have a lot of artifacts. Well, not a lot of artifact mana right now. Mox Opal doesn't even tap for mana. And stat. Vampiric Tutor, sure. Notably, we do get to draw a card before our Saga chapter resolves, so this is not a misstep. This is actually good magic. Looks like we're grabbing a Breach. We have Brain Freeze in hand. We have a Saga chapter about to go. Get this Brain Freeze growing. That's everything we need for our Breach combo here. I believe we are done resolving that. We do draw that.
I'll be at 17.
Ah, no, we were deciding. So yes, we will pick that card. We'll shuffle the rest of our library. That goes to the graveyard. That card goes on top. And we will go to our untap step, go to our draw step, float a mana, and we're going to grab a Black Lotus. I can't imagine us grabbing anything else unless we already happen to have the Lotus in hand. Alright, we're going to consult our graveyard for just half a second and say, yeah, we want this Black Lotus. Because again, we are a Breach deck. We have Breach, we have Lotus, we have Brain Freeze. That is what we call a combo. Let's talk about this, right? Breach. Let's look up Breach from below. Underworld Breach, right? That's actually what I'm talking about. Underworld Breach, right? We get to start casting cards from our graveyard. They have escape, so you need 3 cards in your graveyard to recast your stuff. But hey, Black Lotus is free, so all we have to do is have cards in our graveyard to make that happen. Okay? Step 1. Step 2. Brain Freeze. Brain Freeze. Target player puts the top 3 cards of their library into the graveyard in storms. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to Brain Freeze ourselves, put cards in the graveyard. We're going to sacrifice Black Lotus, make some more mana. We're going to remove cards from our graveyard to recast Brainstorm, put more cards there. Remove those cards, cast Lotus. Then sacrifice Lotus, recast Brainstorm. Do this over and over again until we've generated enough Storm to then start Brain Freezing our opponent. Brain Freezing our opponent is a joy in Magic everyone should get to experience at least once. Apologies if your experience is as the opponent, but that is what the combo is we're going to attempt to do here. Now, it looks like we're going to go ahead and try to get our Lurrus here, but we were able to exile the Lotus with the Force of Negation. So that is going to stop our Breach combo, because we no longer have a free 3-mana artifact in which to just go ham with. That's okay though. Dick's got more play. Now Paul did know about the Force of Negation, so it is something that he did decide to play into.
How are you gonna get there?
I can't go. Oh, my turn. I have a vacation. I'm going to Washington State.
But we do have a Lurrus in play. It's going to give us quite a bit of value. Except with an Oof. Oof is going to turn off quite a bit of the cards Paul might need here. We get to cast this Bauble. Bauble can't activate. Does not do much, but it is the only card we do get to cast from our graveyard.
Go to my end step.
I will know. I will, while I'm on vacation, I'm staying in a place that doesn't have a house.
Ooh, dress down. Look at that.
Sorry. 6.
Did I tell you about our free team?
So it looks like we're going to dig through time in response to dress down. So dress down will... Good guy Paul there. Trying to not let Ian display what we're doing. So it looks like there's a couple island, I think a Force of Will. That might be a Lavinia. So it looks like Force of Will and Lavinia, and there might have been like another Force in there. Okay. So it resolves, sure. Alright, so this is on for the rest of this turn. Alright. We won't get to recast it with Lurrus over and over again, which is nice. So this is a way to get out of our oof situation. Battle, no blocks. Yep. Easy peasy. Alright, Ian, what did you keep? What did you pick off of this thing? Is that a pest control? Notably, this would be a good time to activate our Bauble. Oof is turned off at the moment. See what happens here. This looks like Lavinia mana. Nope. Yeah, you need your white sources. You need 2 white sources. If you want to also resolve a pest control. Yep, there's the pest control. All right. Survey says activate the Bauble. Step 1.
No, you can't, Bob. No, he's got to drop.
All right. Backseat driver is realizing the game state. All right, there's another pest control on top of Ian's deck. So we can counter this one, only to fight against the next one. Or we can just let this happen. Key goes away. Bye-bye, Key.
I'm gonna cycle.
Now, notably here, right? That hurts. Ian can't cast his Lavinia, which I believe is in his hand. Paul, though, has a Luris. We can start replaying some of these artifacts if we need to. It'll be slow. They won't get a chance to activate, but might be something. Alright, what are we fetching for? We are fetching... Alright, there we go. Volcanic. Little dexterity error there. Almost losing our PO.
Game very long.
Upkeep.
I have to find the YouTube Victory story for you. YouTube Victory story. So yesterday I picked
Paul in the tank here.
all my videos.
First step. Gain 3.
I have
I'm on board. Makes sense. Again, if you want to see what our players are playing, what their decks are, we can do that. We have these deck lists. If you want the spoilers true, you can click on that link and you're going to see who wins this match. This match has already happened. But if you want to just find out with me, you know, click on that link later. It'll still be there. You can still find us at stonesmtg.com. Also, probably one of the best resources on the internet for middle school deck lists. If you ever wanted to play middle school, not a lot of people putting out the middle school deck list there. We have probably the best resource available for that. Take a look. Have fun. Paul says, "Hey, this is going to be a breach turn." Ian says, "Hey, no, we're going to pitch this Force of Will and this Lavinia that we got before." Saying no, and Paul says, "No, I very much like this." Pinches a mental misstep. Pitches a to his Force of Will. Now we don't have Black Lotus, so I don't know what we're going to cast for free. So I'm very curious here. And our oof is active too, so our oof is going to make it very difficult to like kind of rebuild here. Now we're just going to cast these things, rebuild now, rebuild from this pest control. We know there's a pest control on top of Ian's deck though. That is the struggle here. We do know that there's another pest control coming. But we have this academy. This academy changes a couple things, right? So we can cast something with Luris for just its mana. Not sure what we're thinking here. Yeah, I mean, hey, I mean it's flashy, right? We can always recast this this breach, you know, if we want to kind of redo it. Should have just vamped for Time Vault. Yeah, sure. Time Vault, yeah. That seems like a good play, right? We can just recast this vamp. We're gonna recast this Dress Down from Loris. Yeah, so yeah, we could have just like vamped for that. Just seemed like a really good line, right? That wins the game on the spot. We gotta kind of juggle our dress downs there, but I think that's fine, right? We don't even need to. Yeah, we can juggle those, but that's fine. We can do those. Instead, we exile all the things and leave ourselves with not much more here to go. We're gonna popple. Yep. Hey, look, it's still the same pest control. But that's okay. We'll draw an extra card, and if any of them is like Force of Will, you know, then that's like okay. But
That's right.
That goes straight.
you know,
So,
oh well.
I'll be doing that on Monday.
All right, Ian gets in for 2.
Thankfully, the batteries are better than they used to. We used to have to mount a battery pack on the tripod with the Matterport. We had that Gen 1 Matterport that was slow as hell. It took us an hour to do
All right,
just a basic thing.
Ian contemplating trading 1 for 1 on this you know, this Mox over here. Maybe we're thinking about cycling. Yeah, okay, we're gonna cycle. Sure. Paul says, yeah, go for it. All right, draw a card. Didn't draw anything actionable. That's okay.
It was $4,000. The Gen 1 when it first came out was $4,000. Nowadays,
What are we thinking?
you can use a 360 camera and it'll just link to the software. It's not as accurate, so we still add
Okay, land drop. Sure.
an actual Matterport device.
Still have another dress down in hand.
When I bought my house, it had a Matterport thing, and I swear, like, that was like
Time walk. Okay. So, what can we do here with the time walk? We're going to recast that with Loris. No, take that back. We don't want to do that.
I spent so much time looking at that.
This is hard, right? Because we want to recast all sorts of stuff. So we do cast that.
And not having to deal with him in any way. I get to look at the house whenever I wanted to without having to.
Mana. Lots of mana. We're going to cast Dress Down.
Brain freeze myself for 1, 2, 9 cards.
9 cards. All right. That says, hey, look, we are interested in breaching.
Brain freeze for 9.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
All right, there's the time vault. So we have access to that. I think we have already exiled our key, though, which, you know, makes life a little more difficult.
Yeah, I have a real estate client. Every now and then.
All right, so let's see. We're gonna recast this breach with Loris. Okay, I think that makes sense on our time walk turn. Let's see. We are going to tap Academy for 2 mana.
Activate Tommy, just pick it up.
Recast. Okay, so we're gonna hard mode our infinite turns here. We're going to just recast time walk each turn. This is a good path to victory, right? And recast brain freeze. Are we gonna? Can we recast the brain freeze? We don't have the mana, but we're going to attack. And Ian cannot block. All right. I like this, right? So we can next turn recast breach, recast brain freeze, recast time walk. Right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we're mana short. There's the mana. Are there still anything? Is there still anything fetchable left in our deck? Maybe.
Upkeep, yes, sack this.
All right, upkeep. We'll do that. That's fine. We do have something we can fetch. Wonderful. Building our own infinite turn combo with Breach, Loris, Brain Freeze, and Time Walk. Who would have thunk, everybody? Vintage. Love it. Love it.
That was my first Xbox. And my dad got us, or my granddad gave us some money, so we went and got all the
All right. We have mana. Okay, so dress down. Dress down before we.
I'm gonna hold priority.
No, okay, we were taking that back. Okay, yeah, you have to. Been a long day for these players.
I'm gonna cast Breach.
I think he has Breach first. Yeah, you have to play Breach first. Then you can play Dress Down.
Back when I couldn't figure out how to turn the air conditioning on.
3 blue.
Sweating on
Dress down.
Alright. We get a Dress Down. Alright. Do we have another key in the deck? No, we're going to Brain Freeze.
2 blue floating. Storm is 3. We have 3. Yeah.
You should just have.
Yeah, sorry. 1 blue floating. Storm is 3.
Alright, getting our mana counts and our storm counts correct here. Let's remove 3 cards from the graveyard.
Six, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. Well, we didn't remove 3 cards for Breach. That's a thing we should need to do. Now, those matches happened in the past, so I can't tell these players to fix it. But we'll see if it matters. See if it comes up. I have a suspicion it won't. I'm gonna cast Time Walk again. So we're just gonna build our own Time Walks here. I believe we have at least 1 turn, maybe what, 2 turns stacked? We'll find out.
I have 2 time walk turns left.
2 Time Walk turns, yeah. So Ian's already taken a couple hits from this Loris. I have a suspicion 2 more attacks are going to put Ian very much close to lethal, and all we need to do is cast Time Walk 1 more time, and that may be the game. So I think Ian's got a mystery card. Clearly does not matter right now. Soul Ring is great. It does add mana for our Academy here. No, we can't start with that. We have to start with the Dress Down, or we have to start with a Breach. I mean, I guess we have a Time Walk turn, so I guess it's fine. Or we just have Breach at hand. Okay, that works too. Sure, I stand corrected. Breachy Breach. Storm is Dose.
Time walk.
We're going to remove that Dress Down. That makes sense. Okay, so now we still have 2 more Time Walk turns after this turn.
We will cast Brain.
You gotta count your library now. Storm is 3. You do that, it'll be for 12 cards. Cast Time Walk. Alright, sure. 3 Time Walk turns remaining.
I have 4 extra turns. Or sorry, 3 more extra turns.
3 extra turns, yeah, that's right. And that represents 12 damage from this Loris.
I have
So we are grinding. We're going to Sensei's top. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, chat.
No. Dress down. I have no life.
I'm done buying other people beer. Next one.
All right.
My board is extremely messy. I'm sorry.
Players figuring out where we are. Still game 1, everybody. Still game 1.
Start my 3rd extra turn. 2 more in the bank.
Okay.
Attack for 3. Pitch to 1. I will be at 25.
Okay. Ian's at 1. We have like 3 more turns left. Okay, so just on top and attack. All right.
Jesus Christ.
We got there. Through an oof. We built our own Time Vault combo. Poltergeist game 1. 1 game away from being crowned RTS 33 champion.
Oh yeah, every portion I was just trying to hold up cluster and I had the force in my hand. But yeah, it was.
Man, what a game 1, everybody. What a game 1. All right, so players have sideboarded. Resolving their mulligans here. And Ian starts off with Footed Strand there. See that Mox Pearl that we're playing for. bottom of the table there. Bottom of the screen.
Because of the nuance of the fact that Tabernacle gives creatures that ability.
All right. See, we're talking about, you know, Tabernacle giving creatures that ability. See, it came up in stream, came up in real life. It's a thing, everybody. All right, so we get Soul Guide Lantern. Does help kind of battle opposing Luris decks, sure. Doesn't really get any value right now.
That I agree. That I agree 100%.
Um.
Solve for it. I do know that.
All right, so we are resolving this fetch.
With Tabernacle in play, all of it's your whoever player is triggering it. It's your job to remember because your creatures put the ability on the stack, which makes it your responsibility, which is fucked up in a lot of ways because it's not. I don't everything.
All right, Tropical Island. We could see an oof here. Oof would be good. I feel like that's like Ian's deck's motto, right? Oh, it'd just be cool if I just like cast an oof here. What can my opponents do? Hey, it is an oof, just can't attack. We're gonna go ahead and cycle this Soul Guide Lantern, and the Nullrod does resolve. Gonna go ahead and Island Cycle this Learn Revealed, grab an Underground Sea.
Records like 2 matches around, and then we'll just queue it all up and talk about it with the chat.
Let's see. We're gonna go ahead pass the turn there. Ian's gonna untap. He's going to draw. We're going to my favorite card for coverage, Taxian Probe. Unban this card, Watsy, so that way coverage can benefit from it. I want to see everyone's hand at all times. All right, so we have a Dress Down. It looks like a key, Learn Revealed, Brain Freeze, Ancestral Recall, and a Mana Crypt. No, Mana Vault. Been doing this all day. Getting those things switched in my head. Excellent. We now have Lavinia Mana. We're going to see Lavinia deployed. Let's find out. Now, Paul's Luris is still in the companion zone on the left side of his table. He's not in play with his Mox Ruby. Good to know. We are going to see a Wasteland going after Paul's mana here. He's going to follow up with, looks like almost nothing. We have a Tarmogoyf. Okay, so Tarmogoyf Force. I lean as if I can see more cards. I can't. It's a video. We're going to recall in response. Tarmogoyf is good. Untap and draw. Deploy Mox. That doesn't do much. Fetch land. Form of Polluted Delta. Play out the artifact. Ian's deck has pest control. Like, I mean, I guess we just drew a bunch of cards. We're using to play cards out of our hand, but like, pest control's still gonna like just wipe all these things away. I don't know.
17.
Goyf has 3 power. Battles in. Paul untaps. We are able to deploy a Saga. We can make tokens, so now this is a reason to play out the artifacts, right? Now we can use our mana to make tokens, not have to worry about our deploying other stuff. However, we have a Cathar Commando. Cathar Commando is going to try to blow some stuff up. However, we're going to respond with the Dress Down. And pop quiz. With Tarmogoyf in play and Dress Down in play, what is the power of Tarmogoyf?
6.
Clearly, it's a question that Ian did not feel like asking Paul by choosing not to attack. And notably, though, the Cathar Commando here is going to kind of help. Oh, you want me to answer the pop quiz? No, pop quiz is for you guys. I have to tell us the answer now. All right, so let's pull this up. Let's pull up Tarmogoyf and work through this. Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's power is equal to the number of card types among cards in all graveyard. Toughness is equal to that one. So there's a weird thing with this, where this could actually be not an ability.
You cast that on your.
No, it is an ability. It's a 0/1. It's a 0/1. We figured it out, right? Because Saga tokens are the same thing, only they're 0/0s. So if those die with the dress down, Tarmogoyf becomes a 0/1. All right, fine. There's the lesson, right? You know, school's in session. Tarmogoyf doesn't have any power and just has his toughness of 0 + 1. So there we go. In my brain, I feel like there's a weird rules case where somehow the power is set, like, is not an ability, but it's just like a fundamental aspect of the card. I don't think that's the case, though.
Yeah. So instant sorcery.
I think it is just a 0/1. Clearly, Ian thought that because he didn't attack with it. I'm on board with it.
9. I do like it. Sorry, it's a 5.
It's a 5.
It's 16. Work at 6 power. It's still bigger.
Let's look at Cathar Commando, though. Cathar Commando does have the activated ability to sacrifice a destroy target artifact or enchantment. It was able to eat the Saga here. And Paul's not following up with too much. We have been graced with the Tarmo die. Tarmogoyf is a 5/6. Thank you, whoever has provided us the Tarmogoyf die. All right, well, we have gotten rid of the... We did repeal the Null Rod, which is great. We have a Time Vault. Do we have a key? We don't have a key. Oh, we're so close. We do have Force of Will for, I believe, for this Null Rod coming back down. It could be tight. All right, Tarmogoyf battles in again. Paul's life total has got to be getting pretty low. All right, Force of Will. Look at that beautiful signed, stamped Force of Will. Getting eaten by the other Force of Will. All right, so Null Rod is here to stay. Our window of opportunity has passed.
They can't have.
You can't untap that. That's correct.
I mean, you can choose
Paul's at 1.
take your turn and untap the thing, but you won't be able to tap it again.
Paul's at 1. We got to find an answer this turn. Brainstorm. Fluster, Force, and Probe, but we don't have life to pay with Probe. And 2 of those cards go back on. So we're effectively Brainstorm locked here. I don't think we have any way to shuffle. I think Paul's doing the math here. And math comes up short. Alright, on the back of Null Rod here, Ian is able to pick up game number 2.
Ian,
Both players are 1 game away from winning this event. We have 1 more game of Magic to show you. Just 1 more. 1 last game. Both players tied at 1 game apiece. Finals of our Romancing the Stones 33 Vintage event. It's proxy friendly. You will see your players playing with some amount of proxies. A lot of us do not play with, we try to limit the amount of proxies we play because we like owning real cards. But we give away some cool proxy prizes. You'll see that Mox Pearl at the bottom there. Players are playing for that card. In a spot on the end of your invitational. So, end of the year, we will have an invitational event. Usually about 10 players make it and qualify throughout the season. play a multi-format event with Vintage in middle school, the cousin to Pre-Modern. A lot of fun. You can see some of our past events streamed on our YouTube channel. Paul, go ahead and open up here with a recall, which does resolve. Ian follows up with Lavinia, which is still just kind of a pain in the butt for Paul. A lot of good kind of hate bear style creatures out of this kind of 4-color deck. So it is Bant, fourth color being black for pest control, as we've seen. We're going to brainstorm. What are we looking for?
What are the 3, like all the Lilianas? There's like 6 Lilianas. So you got Liliana in the Veil, Liliana in the last set.
Couldn't see what we put back. We do have the Lauren revealed. So we do have the Shuffle effect to complete the brainstorm.
The Sorin that's showing himself available.
Okay, so we're going to top our Sapphire. We're going to brainstorm ourselves. Alright? We're going to Pyroblast that. We're going to Pyroblast the Lavinia in response. I like that way better. You can brainstorm all you want after this Lavinia is gone. Alright, let's see. Does this resolve? No. No, it does not.
Not quite a planeswalker, but a very good 3-mana black.
But hey, you know, that was certainly the opportunity here.
Yeah, there's like there's the reanimate that kind of thing. You can play it with Dark Rituals, ramp out stuff in that too.
It's like it's a drive. Yeah, like get the
Ian pondering his brainstorm. Selecting 2 cards. If I could tell you what they were, I would. Oh, nope. Ian's decided, nope, I want to keep some of those cards. Alright, selects a different selection. Makes a different selection there. Alright. What's the follow-up here? Battle for 2. We're going to miss a land drop? Yes, we are. Alright, upkeep cycle. Complete the brainstorm. Grab a replacement Underground Sea for the one that we tapped.
Where you can cycle a 5-drop.
Okay. Alright. Draw this card. Accidentally looked at 2 cards, but, you know. Maybe looked at 2 cards.
Plans within plans.
Alright.
Plans within plans.
Sensi's top. You got it. Soul Guide, sure. We have a Stranded Force of Will. At the moment. He's gonna go ahead and cycle his own Lorien Revealed. I sense a tropical island coming up.
I want that card unbanned.
Yes.
Sticker goblins.
Yes, the tropical island.
It's like a limited all-star, isn't it? Yeah. Like, it's like flashes from the past.
It's an unstable card. It's a
All right here. So
lightning strike with kicker.
Ian's gonna have access to green now, which does suggest a collector oof. Would certainly be great here. We're gonna battle for 2 first. But we have a tropical island in hand as well. Perhaps we drew one for the turn. Here's an oof. Alright, yep. Oof resolves. Paul is going to, you can't tap! You can't tap, but you only looked at 1 card, which is good. You're going to draw that one. Saga. Alright. Saga's fine. Buy Luris. We'd like to buy a cat.
18 mana to go infinite.
Alright. Ian's hoping to, you know, hoping these 2 lock pieces are enough between Oof and Lavinia. Things aren't looking good for Paul. Now we just really need a clock. And 4 power it does count as a clock, but we're gonna need something to battle these Saga tokens, or the board is gonna get stalled up pretty quickly. Pest control would be a fine out to that. Unfortunately, we don't have black mana yet, although this will happily grab an Underground Sea, I'm sure.
What was a 2-mana dinosaur?
But we will wait for Ian to confirm.
That was a lost start. I used to play
Yep. There's that. You can't tap that Sapphire? Alright.
every time I cast.
Alright. That's why we grabbed the Underground Sea. Alright, so shortcutting here, we're going to just cast the D-Tutor before shuffling.
Is in the finals, but I'm so happy I'm neither of these players right
I
now.
know,
It's
right?
like very
Just get to
unpleasant.
watch the most stressful fucking matchup ever.
Stu did make the top 8 as well, I believe. But clearly, this is a big brain mirror. There's a lot happening here. Ian picks the best card in his deck, puts it in his hand, passes the turn. Paul untaps. Taps for 3 mana to cast this Lurrus. And then Lurrus resolves, then deploys Academy. Academy can tap for 2, which is great because it will activate the Saga. Ian does path the cat piece here, the Lurrus. I wonder if Ian did D-Tutor for that Sword of Plowshares, knowing this Lurrus was on the way. Notably, Paul does have a Sword of Plowshares strand, or not Sword of Plowshares, a Force of Will stranded in his hand, unable to cast it due to this Slovenia here. Now, notably, Paul does have 5 mana, so if we can just have like hard cast it, we can cast a force, and that might catch Ian off guard here. So we'll see here if we can tap 2 non-Academy lands for mana here. Make that we now have 5 mana off this Academy. We have Secret Force of Will. All right, Secret Force of Will. Let's go. There we go. Okay, so notably we go ahead and grab a Soul Ring. Can't tap that for mana yet. It does contribute to our Academy plan. We could PO here. POing here does seem real sweet. Can't float any of that.
Oh, we have no money for it. We'll attack for 5.
Yeah, you need to attack first.
Main phase 2 to fetch. 5 mana flood. Paradoxical for 3.
You have 1 mana.
1 mana flood.
Ooh. All right, we're going to force a negation that. All right, so Paul's just like one dress down away from getting out of this. Ian is going to play the Lurrus that we bought. Notably, though, we could have forced that, and Ian would not have been able to do anything about that. We're gonna Power Blast this Lavinia. Ian's gonna think about this. It's gone. All right. Step 1, that is unlocked. Now we can play free spells. Now we can play Force of Will for free. This is good. We're gonna play. Oh, look at that. We're one dress down away from winning on the spot. Or at least being able to like take some turns. The dress down won't stay around forever, so. But these socket tokens are big too, so that's all that really Paul needs. Maybe we're dress down away. Well, dress down will kill these saga tokens, so we can't do that. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? That's the game. Paul wins. 2-1. Paul's the winner. Congratulations, Paul, on winning RTS 33 and in your spot in our end of year invitational.
Oh, let's go. Back to year repeat. Same.
Yeah, year repeat. What does that mean? Well, that means Paul qualified with Grixis Breach last year, qualified again with it this year, and earns himself as the little Mox Pearl here.
My only loss today.
I'm really happy to have that.
So we can see some of the cards that he might have that he brought in here. Some bolts, some braids. It looks like maybe. Wow. Ian does have some Bowmasters that he can bring in. Interesting. Good to see. What a match. What a blue mirror. Blue-ish mirror. Shrug. That one was fun.
The real win is the $30. All right.
The 30, yeah, our top 8 prizes split. We all split on top 8. But that was fun, right, guys? That was fun event of vintage. Ian got to bring one of his kind of sort of brews. It's not really brew, it is sort of a brew. Ian style deck. We saw Pest Control really overperform in a lot of these games. Either cleaned up or cycled. That was great. Death Threat Shaman made top 2. Haven't seen that in a while. A lot of really fun stuff. This event. But that is going to do it for our paper magic. That was our 5 rounds of Swiss plus our top 8. So we had 3 rounds of top 8, so 8 total rounds of magic tonight. Again, 24-player proxy vintage event. Congratulations again goes to Paul, who does win the Mox Pearl and our spot end of year invitational. Now you can play whatever goofy brews you want because the pressure is off, while the rest of us have to decide how much we really care and want to, try to spike the next event. But it's been fun. It's, thanks everyone who's been here with chat with me. It's been wonderful to have all of you. Wonderful for those of you who are at the event and still came to watch the stream and watch the recap. Maybe catch some stuff that you missed. Maybe see some things that you may have done differently in your match or better. It's a lot of fun. But that is going to do it for tonight. Yeah, don't really have much else to say other than thanks to all of you. When we have more information, so if you want to play one of these events, how do you do that, right? You can find us in our Discord. We do have a Discord where we have lots of our information. It's where a lot of our events are coordinated. Our middle school leagues are coordinated through there. We have a lot of our information disseminated through there, especially for our future events. So hit us up on the socials if you don't have access to our Discord. We'll get you access. You can see our socials there in the corner. Other corner. That's how this works, right? Other corner there. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on our website. Just reach out to someone who knows somebody. We'll get you in there. We'd love to see you in our middle school leagues. We'd love to see you come up to our next vintage event. I'm sure our next vintage event will have information around it coming out soon. I know we're taking a little bit of break for our middle school leagues during the summer to have a couple of these vintage events. So please check in. We'd love to have you. It'll be great. We'd love to have another 24-person event. We'd love to have another 32-person event. But yeah, hope to see you there. If you are unable to join our vintage events because you are not in Austin, Texas, no worries. Play in our middle school events. Our middle school events are webcam leagues. We will play, the last couple leagues have been 6 rounds, 6 weeks, and then cut to top 8. They've been a lot of fun. We've been hitting 30 to 40, even just barely hitting 50 people in some of these. A lot of fun, a lot of great. You can catch all the previous leagues on our YouTube. Great content to watch if you're looking for deck ideas or just want to see different things. All of our leagues are different. There's a meta, but that meta just changes all the time. It's great fun. But other than that, we'll just see you around. So take it easy and have a great rest of your night.